Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube, and welcome back to Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. With me today, first of all, I am your host and game master, Skajarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. Brain did not do a full function there for a second. I'm sorry, I did not sleep great. But with me today, we have our full cast of players. We have Tom117Z playing Rosa Solwyn, our female Elvon Mithra Watcher.
I am ready to nerd.
We have Mystic playing Aeon, our male Moogle Time Mage.
I'm in school, Kupo.
We have Hades Shadow 92 playing Cassandra, our female human dragoon.
But God, I don't want to go to school.
Tough. We have Darkness playing Kunara, our female Lupin warrior.
So much magic.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Ari playing Kayana, our female Tarufel engineer.
Don't bother me, kids.
Yeah, she definitely sees herself as a teacher.
she is definitely like Ari and Kunara. They're basically the parents here.
Give her
You're not wrong.
She'll be energized. That's why it might bring.
And then Cassandra's like the grungy big sister who's starting to go through her goth phase, and everyone else are the baby siblings.
Oh God. Well, I've got a seed in mind. You don't think I was too harsh on them, do you, Cassandra?
Cassandra is the older teenage sibling, Rosa is the one entering puberty, and then Aeon's way down there.
Aeon's like 8.
Oof.
Anyway, so...
Yeah.
So...
And Kaya's just the middle child that's just done with everybody's shit.
Kai's one of the parents, rather. Anyway, so...
What about Tyr?
Here's the pet.
Tyr's the golden retriever.
He's a school
he's
pet.
nice.
He's a school pet.
He's a school pet.
He's like the hamster you keep in the back of the classroom and no one ever notices. Until, like, he becomes the subject of discussion. I'm sure Tyr would be thrilled to be compared to a hamster. Anyway. Anyway.
Weekend, somebody has to take him home, and then all the times Aeon takes him home, turns around and just gets that evil glare.
And then the hamster
Like
comes
a
back and he's like a
competitive
pound
hamster.
heavier. Anyway.
Recap time.
Yes, so, where last we left off, the Freebirds, following a intense disagreement and sort of long-needed breakdown of unhealthy expectations and not good assertions, continued on their journey northward for the Academy City of Anomo in the hopes of meeting some experts in various fields who might be able to give them some insights into various different issues from across the group's different pasts. From the fate of Rosa's parents to the strange dreams Kunara is having, to whatever this enigmatic shadow that seems to be clinging to Aeon may or may not be. After some secret things happened in the village of Sassafel, the party continued on their way up the slopes for the Academy City, pushing their way through snow and hailstorm, managing to avoid all 5 of the random encounters I added to my random encounter table.
Oof.
We're just very good at dodging your plans.
Yep, you are.
Dodge.
How many times have we done that?
A few, at least. I imagine there will be more in the days to come, but regardless, you eventually found yourselves in the Academy City, and with no other objectives other than to get your answers, you beelined for the Central University along the Academy's northern wall. There, you learned that the first individual you wished to speak to, your primary person of interest in this visit, Panara Blackstorm, was hosting an open lecture on the subject of the old empire of Zart. And so, curious as to what she had to say, and just in general eager to be there to just intercept her when she was done, I suppose, you all stepped in to the large public lecture room where Panara was beginning the lecture, accompanied by Sarahphina Shadowgrasp, the aunt, I believe I'm remembering right,
Yes.
of Cassandra. And so, upon that note, we shall begin. Give me just a second here to get my things squared away.
Excuse me?
You're excused. Don't let it happen again.
Sorry.
Don't forget the watch together room.
This music, this music gives me so many bad juju vibes.
Embrace the anxiety. You will be feeling it for a long time. And so, at this point, Panara turns to Sarahphina and gives a subtle little nod. And Sarahphina extends out a hand, and there's this sort of pulse of gray. And the already dim lights in the chamber dim considerably more, leaving just Panara as clearly visible, with everything else bathed in almost indecipherable silhouette. You recognize this as some manner of illusion spell. Panara folds her hands behind her back, takes a breath. So, how best to describe my homeland? I struggle to find words that might do it justice when it was at its height, without coming across as unreasonably biased. I struggle likewise to find adequate words to describe it as I knew it, for the same, yet opposite, reason. It was a massive empire. Any of you who have studied the old maps, you will know, the Zalaran Empire controlled the entirety of its likewise named continent. Coast to coast, mountain to mountain, valley to valley, from sky to abyss. And as Panara is speaking, these images begin to fade in gradually. Anyone paying attention to Sarahphina will note her hands moving in particular ways to fabricate these illusions, to create the images Panara is describing. And you can see these sort of barren, jagged landscapes dotted with glowing orange crystals rising out of the earth. From coast to coast, as she said. Zart was ours. And none who lived among us were capable of shaking that unflinching hold. We were a civilization of magic, not unlike Lapinia here. In the earliest days of our people, the myths, legends, and histories claim that we were surrounded by the omnipresent glow of the demon amber, and that it held sway over us in all things. The god of malevolence in our culture, Promathia, held our chains and bound us to servitude and slavery under his boot. Now, of course, we know in the modern day that Promathia was simply the Zalaran word for Diabolos, the firstborn of the gods and master of chaos and darkness. It only makes sense then that our people were ensnared and enslaved under his control, as his will and corruption seeped into all that the amber touched. And the continent of Zalart had more growths of amber than any other land on this world. If that is the case, one might assume that the Zalaran Empire was a vile and evil place of demon worshippers, but that is not the case. For according to old legends and what little can be recalled historically from the time, we Zalarans were eventually freed from the control of Promathia by our god of light and mercy, Pythias. It is said that Pythias shattered our chains, bound the will of the amber, and then handed us the power to control it. Now, whether or not this legend is true, or merely a story woven around the campfire to explain away the reversal of our role with the amber, is anyone's guess. But the end result was the same. And as she's been speaking, there have been more images of silhouettes of Zalarans knelt down in prostration before a silvery entity with long purple wings and a hood raised up over its head. Before that image was shattered, and the chains fell from the Zalarans' necks and into their hands. Then the image shifts again, and you bear witness to a sprawling city of gargantuan spires, gilded in amber, connecting to one another via numerous bridges, glowing like gold in a dusk-light setting. The amber of Zalart was shorn from Diabolos' direct control, and it bent to the will of the Zalarans. Like clay, we used it to build up our civilization from nothing. Magnificent spires rose to pierce and scrape the heavens themselves. Wonders of magic not seen anywhere else on Eno were worked, things I lack the ability to truly describe to you. We spread to every corner of our continent and built an empire that would last for thousands of years. We were practically impenetrable to invasion, as while we now controlled the Amber of Zart, no one else could. And while significantly dulled, it still radiated its aura of corruption. Such a powerful natural defense meant that we had little need for a true standing army. At this point, the image shifts. The cityscape pulls into the central spire, and you see rows upon rows of individuals in contrasting garb sort of lined up in neat rows to display them. In the first row, you see individuals dressed in ornate blackened armor with gilded patterns running all along it, and with these flowing black capes with red symbols cascading down their backs, and behind them, individuals wearing similar robes to what Panara wears now. Furred shoulders, dark blues, hoods raised over their head. Instead, we entrusted the control and enforcement of our laws and protection of our lands to the orders of the Ambermancers and the High Judges. I was an Ambermancer, not unlike my current role as a Black Mage. I derived my power from the Amber, and it was my life's work to comprehend its inner workings and uncover new ways to wield it safely and wisely for the good of my people. Such had been my calling for many decades before I left. The High Judges, however, were not unlike those who preside over the courts here on Panara. The judges of Zart were experts of all forms of law and legislation in the Empire, and were entrusted with enforcing it in the court of law, but also upon the streets, as a policing force of sorts. Each and every one was a master in battle, an expert diplomat, and a practical walking encyclopedia of our legal system. My own bond, or husband, as you would refer to him, was a high judge, Gabranth. A fine man when I met him. Panara sort of trails off for a moment, and she sort of shakes herself. Regardless, snaps her fingers and the illusion shifts again, once again depicting another Zalaran city. Different this time. This one is surrounded on all sides by clear blue skies and rolling clouds. It was a stable nation, prosperous, regimented, and stalwart, and it was governed from on high by the Penumbral Council, who ruled from the magnum opus of my people, the Trinity of Flying Cities. Bavel, the home of order and law, Zanarkand, the home of magic and innovation, and Eden, the home of beauty, art, and culture. These floating cities resided high in the skies above the northern, central, and southern thirds of the continent, impenetrable sanctums of governance, and all bathed in the golden glow of the amber. The illusion fades to dark again. But that stability, the distinct lack of anything that could truly threaten us, it bred complacency. The elders of the Penumbral Council became increasingly arrogant with every generation. As the centuries passed, the Empire began to fall into something of a state of stagnation, and the corners and edges began to succumb to a form of cultural rot, lethargy, and in turn, weakness. By the time I was born, we were already convinced we were ultimately unstoppable, and it led to us becoming blinded. A veil of delusion fell across so many of our eyes, and many found themselves succumbing to god complexes of a sort. I am ashamed to admit that at one point I was much the same. The illusion lights back up again, revealing a sort of stylized depiction of a grand council chamber. Several tiers of seats arranged in a circle, looking down on a central amphitheater, not like the one you're all in now, but the figures in the seats are all dressed in dark robes with hoods pulled up, and in the center of it, there is a tall figure dressed in blackened armor that anyone who has bothered to look at any history book with illustrations would recognize as being Odin. And it was due to this unfathomable arrogance that they stood unprepared for the events of the Amber Tide. I was not present for these events, but from all I have heard, Odin himself ventured into the council chambers and warned the penumbral council of the calamity to come. But the elders of the Empire refused to listen to his warnings. Judges and ambermancers from across the land heard and heeded his call, but without the blessing of the council, there was nothing they were legally allowed to do. By the time the demons fell upon the Empire, rising from the amber we had built our homes upon, the Empire, for the first time in its history, stood on the brink of all-out civil war. Judges and ambermancers fought to fight back against the crisis and evacuate civilians. I am told that they had matters well in hand after a time. When the demons emerged, the severity of the threat was eventually recognized, and a concerted unified effort was put forward. But in the end, it mattered little. Diabolos was slain by the Warriors of Light, as you all know. And with the end of his life, and the purification of the Amber by Phoenix Flame, the Zalaran Empire was undone. She lifts up her hand, and you can see her, focusing for a second, but nothing comes out. Brow furrows, and the illusion behind her fades, and it then reforms into an image from a ground level, showing what appears to be a monolithic meteor blazing a trail through the sky towards the ground below. The great cities fell to the world as meteors, and all were powerless to do anything but watch. The Amber was our power. It was our pride, our joy, our clay. And now it was dead, and without it, we were nothing. The Empire ended that day. In time, the continent became coated in an overwhelming flood of new life as the flames of rebirth did their work. The illusion changes again, this time showing first a firestorm ravaging the landscape, tidal waves of ash washing over hills. And then it shifts again, and the now grayed out amber emitting orange flaming light that bit by bit, as if in time-lapse, shows saplings and grass poking up through the ash and then rapidly coalescing into monolithic jungles and grand, sweeping vistas of massive flowers and mushrooms. The scattered survivors of Zart began to band together into small settlements of survivors, and with time, as they organized, things that could be considered larger nations. To my knowledge, the continent is largely dense with jungles and vibrant fields, marred by fractured nation-states routinely warring with one another for control of territory, resources, and potentially valuable relics of the old empire. It's a sad and pitiful end for a nation that was once so mighty and respected. But allow it to be a warning to all of you. None of us are immune to arrogance. None of us are immune to complacency. We must ever be vigilant of what we have and of what we stand to protect, and remain humble enough to know that we are never invincible. We are not immortal. And even if we were, what guarantee would that be? For even the gods on high are not immune to these foibles. And even the gods on high can die. The illusion drifts out, and at this point, Panara's lecture begins to zero in on more specific subjects, such as the geography of the Empire, its various exports, its trade relations with the only other landmass it had access to before the tide walls fell, Venata, and its role of espionage in a war that took place there 7 years before the Amber Tide. All the while, Sarahphina is using some form of magic to weave these illusions to provide visual aids and representations of all of the subjects she is discussing, from bustling city streets, open marketplaces, the inner workings of the great sanctums and magical ceremonies of the Zalarans, and so many other things. It's fascinating to behold, to be sure. But there's an undeniable air of melancholy as Panara is regaling all of this. And I would like everyone to make inquiry checks, please.
Inquiry.
Inquiry.
Do I have an inquiry? Yes, I do.
I don't believe I do.
Wish I was Nee, because I don't think Nee would need to make one. Because she feels it.
You're only an 8, Nee?
Oh dear, that's a
I'm
bit
doing
of a
my
fail.
An 8.
Well, I say there's
Oh, I have inquiry.
this.
Oh, I have some too.
Completely blew over her head then.
Like a quarter, Nee, I think it's more. Because
Okay.
four
I
got
grandparents for
12.
1 quarter.
I got 10. Okay, so a quarter.
I
Nee.
get
6.
11.
How am I the one that has the high roll right now? Unless Kunara and Tom beat me. I'm
No,
assuming
I think
they
as I
would.
said,
I
got
have
a
nothing in
critical fail.
inquiry, which is kind of odd because Rosa.
I
completely
swear to God, if
oblivious
Aeon is the
to the
highest,
situation.
nobody.
Looks like Aeon's the highest. So what did
Wow.
what did Kunara get?
As I said, a critical fail, so it completely blew over her head.
Okay. So to everyone who rolled a 10 or higher, so Aeon, Cassandra, and Kayana,
When it comes to Rosa, she's kind of, after a while, her focus went off of Panara's face, and she looks distracted fiddling with the Blackstorm heirloom. So she doesn't notice, that's why
yeah,
she fails.
anyone who's paying attention to what Panara is saying, the words are professional, and her conduct is also similarly professional and purely academic. But anyone who pays really close attention to her face or her eyes, even from this distance, there is an undeniable underlying tension in her every word. And you get the impression that there may be some bottled up resentment for her old homeland that she is making a very hard effort not to express here.
Well, I mean, I would imagine so, considering they sent her husband to chop off her head.
Yeah, there's a
imprisoned
lot
her
of
for
shit.
So long. There's
It's also the source of all of her and Nee's issues happened there.
But I didn't go on the trip to.
No, she
Oh,
refused to
Arnish.
come. Nee went by herself.
Nee
Well,
went with
but
Mika
with Mika and
and Ronnie and
yeah.
Skalala.
Lonnie and Skalala.
Anyways,
But Panara absolutely refused to come when Nee really wanted to
Anyways.
go.
Are we still in school? Please.
yes. But regardless, after about an hour of discussion, the illusions fade and the lights in the room begin to light back up. So, I hope all of that was informative and interesting to all of you. If you have more questions about what this nation was like, about something I did not cover here, you're welcome to send letters. I can't guarantee I'll get back to everyone, but I'll try my best. Now, you all still have classes to attend and matters to deal with. I'll not hold you any longer. And then she turns and nods over at Sarahphina. And thank you for your assistance, Sarahphina. I'm surprised how well you did, considering I had such little time to give you the information for these. I'm something of a natural. Tell me about it. And at this point, everyone else in the room is sort of packing up the room, filling with the chatter of movement and students eagerly discussing what they've just heard, or in one case grumbling that, I just want to go get some fucking lunch.
As people,
So-
as they're packing up to leave, what's Panara doing?
She is moving over to, Panara is moving over to Sarahphina to chat with her in hushed voices. And as you're looking, do me a favor, make an awareness check.
Okay. Real shit. 7.
7? Nah.
Well, either way,
Can I do something?
What do you want to do?
So people are leaving, right?
Yep.
Whole thing's over.
Yep.
Is Sarahphina looking our way?
She's currently embroiled in conversation with Panara, so she is not looking your way.
Oh
Seeing
no.
this, Cassandra is grinning,
Uh-oh.
and you see her start to take a few steps backwards.
Cassandra,
Well,
what are you
it-
doing?
Rosa just looks at Cassandra just sighs.
And she's going to jump and attempt to land on Sarahphina.
While the jump is mid-air, Rose is just getting up and starting
Oh
to
my-
walk down the aisle towards the front. A little more apprehensive.
Kunara just looks up and then does face palms.
All right. So, Cassandra, you go leaping up into the air. And there's like a few startled yelps as suddenly this purple blur shoots up into the air with a metallic whistle. All eyes lift up. And as you're coming down towards Sarahphina, I would like you to just make a finesse roll for me, please.
You're not gonna get just fireball in the face or something.
I'm gonna get a what?
Fireball in the face.
What made you say that?
Defensive reaction.
Defensive reaction.
Stranger danger! Bang!
Right now, all she's seeing is a purple blur out of freaking nowhere.
All right,
Oh,
11 you
boy,
said?
Here we go.
Yes.
Stranger blur.
All right. Well, as you're jumping up and sailing down, sort of just like, I'm assuming hands outstretched.
Hands outstretched and yep. And yelling at the top of our lungs. Auntie Sarah!
Like, as you're opening your mouth to say that and you're coming down, you just see Panara's hand shoot up and a swirl of gray mist comes flying out of it directly for you. Panara rolled a 13 on her cast of sleep.
Oh, right, a
Night,
shadow
night,
grasp
Cassandra.
and
Sleep!
history
Oh, no.
so dark repeats.
Sleep. Why?
Because something she doesn't know is sailing at her at high speeds. She's taking defensive action.
Time to sleep.
And she's like level 14, man.
Okay. Well,
A shadow grasp
what
is being a
happened?
jerk-ass towards a member of the Soul Winner Phil family. The
Anyway, so the gray mist washes over you, and all watch as Cassandra just kind of smashes, unconscious as all hell, into the center of the platform, slides along for a second.
Rosa just stops a minute and just goes, "This was not how I pictured it in my head."
Well,
After-
who
there's
didn't
a-
see that one coming?
Sarahphina then
So-
looks down. Wait, Cassie? Oh, you know this one. Yeah, that's a family member. And then Sarahphina quickly runs over.
Rosa, I say at this point, Rosa just quickly runs up on stage, just goes, "Sorry, Panara, one moment," and just kneels down next to Cassandra, not knowing what necessarily is affecting her, and just actually, hold on.
So you put her to sleep mid-air, and then she just like falls between them and just lands on the platform.
You slid along for a couple feet with a high-pitched squeal, but yes.
It's like, you just put my niece to sleep.
And
Since Cassandra probably took like a slight knock, having impacted face first into the stage, she's just gonna kneel down and just start casting Cure.
All
Yeah,
right.
she's had worse.
Yeah, easy enough. You lean down, you cast Cure, there's a swirl of green sparkles, and Cassandra pops back to wakefulness.
Smooth moves, Shadow Grasp.
She looks up and sees Sarahphina yet again, and tries to jump again.
oh no,
Really?
never learns.
Tackle hugs!
All right, so are you just jumping straight for her, or are you jumping into the sky again?
Jumping straight forward.
All right, this time...
At this point,
Alright.
just out of sheer annoyance, I'm gonna cast Stop and just grab her with vines.
No, I mean, the thing is, Sarahphina is right there. She ran to Cassandra's side first, so you don't really have time. So Cassandra, you just like lurch up and just wrap Sarahphina up in a warm embrace.
You just see Rosa with her book open, a couple of vines start to creep up, and she's like, "Fair enough," and retracts them.
Cassandra is hugging the shit out of her aunt.
And Sarahphina is hugging you right back. Oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting you to be here. When did you arrive in the Academy City?
A few minutes ago.
A few minutes. You know, you
Well, I
could
guess-
have told me you were coming.
I mean, I would have, but you were in class.
Yeah, I guess. Word of advice: don't go jumping through the air towards a stage where with two professors. One of them is the Arch Black Mage.
She knows. She doesn't care.
I was wanting to surprise you. It's not my fault that she's a killjoy.
Wanting to do this a little more gently, but thank you, Cassandra.
All you see is Kai and Kunara just like face popping the whole
Cassandra.
Yep.
This is why I
Cassandra
told
sticks her-
you, think before you leap. And you
Cassandra?
did not heed my word of advice.
So Cassandra sticks her tongue out at all of you, and then goes back to snuggling up to her aunt.
Is it-
Panara doing in this situation?
For the moment, Panara is just standing back and staying quiet.
And where is Aeon?
Good question.
I
Mystic, where's
was
Aeon?
assuming after all that mess, he probably just like waits till everything's calmed down and then goes to Cassandra's side.
It's Aunt. You gotta hug the auntie.
Yep. And Tiamat
Auntie.
and Tiamat scurries along with you and also joins in the hug. Oh, and you brought the whole family, I see. Oh, it's good to see you two. You three, are you all right?
I don't think Cassandra is.
Hey,
That's
I was interfered with. It would have been the best hug ever.
But Sandra, you tell me not to rush into things. That was a complete rush.
But it's Auntie Sarahphina.
Wasn't
You
this how
do-
you said
you-
I would react?
You do realize what Professor Shadowgrasp's reputation is, right?
She kind of looks over her shoulder at Panara. I've known her almost all my life. She's fun.
Fun, yes. Expensive, also yes. Property
Yeah,
damage
but-
bills rake up with her around.
Yeah, what's a few columns?
Seraphina
Rosa-
just chuckles. Tell you what, and she picks herself up. We have a lot of catching up to do since you all just decided to appear on me. I have an office. Shall we go talk there? Have some privacy?
Yeah, sure, that'd be great.
Sweet. She sort of just claps you on the shoulder, looks over at Panara. I'll leave you to handle whatever the rest of this is, Miss Blackstorm. That's fine. Go on. And then Seraphina reaches into her robes and withdraws some sort of wrapper, like a little piece of candy wrapped up in a colorful wrapper. Aeon?
Yay! Candy!
Of course, always for you. Here you go.
No, no.
Oh, and Tyr, look at you. You've grown so big. They're feeding you right, yeah? Yep, I only have to eat rats occasionally. What? I'm joking.
Big? How much bigger did he really get, Koopa?
Since Seraphina saw him last, he's probably grown like a foot in length.
Oh,
And just called him short.
All right, come on, you three. And she sort of, again, pats Cassandra on the shoulder. Let's go, Cassie.
Auntie, not in front of my friends.
Well, then you should have
Enjoy
thought
your
about that
tea.
before you brought them here.
You really should have, Cassie. Go on, enjoy
She kind of
yourself.
looks back at me. Nobody calls me Cassie.
All you hear is guys just saying future blackmail.
notes in book.
What's wrong with the name Cassie? I think it suits you.
And Cassandra, Aeon, and Tyr are led out by Seraphina.
Not how I pictured that going at all. So she looks towards Panara and goes, "So sorry about that. That was not what we discussed."
Lord.
Hi.
Hello, Rosa.
mm, you... You knew.
I recognize you very much. I only knew you briefly when you were a baby, but there's no mistaking the features that I helped cultivate. Or that. And she points at the necklace around your neck.
I wondered if you spot that.
It stands out pretty distinctly. You almost never see Zalaran fashion up here. And even when you do, it's cheap imitations.
Well, this isn't cheap. It's even enchanted now.
I can tell.
Just, I stirred some of the latent darkness to form like a protective veil. You know. Magic is my thing. I have so many questions.
So do I. I was not expecting to see you, honestly, ever again, frankly.
Yeah, the basis of all my questions. So, yeah, there's so much to ask and tell, and just getting here from Marasu has been a journey. These are my traveling companions and friends. You saw Cassandra Shadowgrasp. She is the linchpin of all this madness. And Aeon. That's Kunara, and that's Kayana.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hello.
Which
With a
Kanar does as Kanar does a respectful slow bow.
So yeah, guys, this is my great grandmother, Panara Blackstone.
Pleasure to meet you all.
We are the Freebirds, adventuring party extraordinaire, I guess.
Adventuring party. I might have known.
Still a bit new.
I can tell. There's a certain jitteriness to you that a seasoned adventurer wouldn't necessarily have.
Jitteriness.
I take it hasn't been easy on you?
You just take a slight eye twitch.
I thought not. It rarely is.
I wasn't really ready for what happened outside Marasu's walls. But I think I'm getting a handle on it. One piece of angst at a time.
Well. And she sort of looks around, and you can see that there's still like a handful of students sort of lingering at the edges of the room wondering, what the fuck is this about? This is not the place for this conversation, I think.
No. Do you have an office? Do you have an office that has books and spells and stuff?
I do have an office, yes. And it does have books, and it does have spells, and no, you can't touch.
Oh.
And no, you can't touch. She already sounds like a grandma.
I like how she knew. I like how she knew.
Books and spells and stuff.
All in good time, Rosa. One
Wow.
step at a time.
You need to understand, Rosa, though I know who you are, and you are family, I have also only just met you. I don't really know you yet. So, touching my things will happen when I think you've earned that. Fair?
I will read those books, yes. Yes, okay, sure.
Come
Books.
along.
Such insistence.
Careful, Rosa, your Mika is showing.
And yeah, like
Maybe
Panara
she
just sort of just like rolls her eyes as she's turning around. So much like her grandmother. And leads the way.
Following on.
So,
Same.
Panara leads you out of the lecture hall, through a few corridors, and eventually through a door that she like raises a hand up to, presses it against a little crystalline slab next to it. There's a pulse. There's a as the door unlocks and swings open.
As we're going in, Rosa's gonna turn to Kayana and Kunara and goes, do you mind? I've waited for this light for 20 years. Can I have some time alone? for this?
Sure. Take all the time you need.
Thanks. That's just, probably gonna be ugly crying, and there's been enough of that, so.
Yeah, we had plenty.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty to explore, or maybe go find Cassandra before she sets something on fire with her aunt.
This is Cassandra we're talking about.
Exactly, so great fires.
I know I wanted to talk to Panara, but there's no harm in exploring and making sure Cassandra and Aeon don't get up to anything.
She's not going anywhere. Probably.
I doubt it. She works here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
But
catch up with
anyway.
you in a while, okay?
Yes.
Thanks.
She
Alright.
pats you on the shoulder and heads off somewhere.
You know that guy's following right behind her.
All right. So it just leaves Rosa with Panara's office.
Going inside.
All right, going inside, you are greeted to a fairly substantially sized room. There's a very large and pretty window, slightly shimmering with magic energies in the back, providing a breathtaking view of the city and mountainscape beyond, letting in this perpetual sort of silvery glow. Off to the left and right, there are bookcases that are lined not just with books, but also various little knickknacks or trinkets that, from your extensive study of the book of the Chronicles of Eno, you would recognize several of them as being leftover bits and baubles that might have been entrusted to Panara after the adventure was over. Little things that she just kept as mementos.
Anything notable amongst that mementos? Anything like from the book that Rosa would recognize?
A few things, but nothing that I specifically have in mind. Nothing of importance, just things that might remind one of, like, some of the adventures from back then. Like, you see, like, a little stone from Kinatoa, or a shard from the blue monolith in the Piera Oasis, and things like that.
Can I also just add in that, right now she has a, like, in a little case, like a knife that slowly crackles with lightning energy.
Yeah, sure.
Well.
Sure, I'll allow that.
Storm.
Yep. Not, I was thinking about Sky Shot, but he's still a Sky Shot, so.
Yeah. And at the head of it all, up a couple of steps, there is a very wide desk, complete with sort of like a black orb contained in something that looks what you might see in like a globe style world map. But this orb doesn't have any markings on it. It's just a black smooth orb.
So many things that I read about.
Panara sits down on her end of the desk. Go on, have a seat. I imagine you did a lot of walking to get here. Rest your legs.
We went up a mountain, yeah. It was really cold. I don't have sleeves.
I noticed that. I keep advocating that they should add like a specific tram system or just a teleportation circle, but the older members of the council and faculty are very resistant to the idea, partly because that shit's expensive.
Also, isn't it supposed to be like some kind of test for the fortitude of mages, or at least that's the excuse?
That is the excuse, yes. And it's not a totally invalid one, but it does lead to unnecessary fatalities along the road. Regardless.
Rose takes a seat.
It's a very comfortable chair. So, you have questions?
I think we both know what the primary one's going to be, and all the rest stem from it.
I have my theories, but I'm not going to assume.
How'd my parents die?
Go right for the throat.
Ah. I thought you were going to ask why, the two halves of your family seem to not get along so great.
Like I said, the rest of the questions stem from that one point. I mean, there's also the questions of why I was in Marasu, why I was raised by the Soul Winds, why no one ever came to visit, why the Soul Winds and Ethel seem to hate each other, and who the hell Forgal's supposed to be.
Where did you hear that name?
One of our jobs, a bunch of slaves we sprang were controlled by these collars created by Forgal, and the moment I saw that name, in the back of my head, I knew that name. I don't know why I know that name, but it's like someone that you met once, but you can't quite place their face.
As you're saying all of that, Panara's usually ashen face seems to go even paler than usual. And I need you to join me in the Hall of Whispers.
Okay, goodbye, guys. I'm gonna die now.
No! I
Oh,
want
dear.
to know. Get back here!
Tough.
No.
Backstory. Let's go. How did my mother and daughter die? My two different characters.
Forgal created them?
They were bracelets. He provided them to a mage called Solus. He commissioned them for a ton of gil. They looked like party favors, things he'd give out at a carnival. Sold to a bunch of people, and then they were under his power.
But you're certain Forgal made them.
We found a letter, directly detailing the name. Do I still have the exact? I don't have the letter anymore. We gave it to the local guard as evidence, but it was penned by Solus to... Was it by Solus? No, it was by Claudian, wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah. Penned by the guy behind it all, Claudian, this Lalafell git. He was the one who paid, and basically saying that the goods were good to Forgal. He signed his name. And that apparently last Claudian knew this Forgal guy was hanging around the tail lines in earlier. I know he's a necromancer, and I know that 20 years ago he had a reputation around Vitae. 20 years. I'm 20 years old. It's...
You're right, Forgal was a necromancer. He appeared approximately 25 years ago in the Great Vitaean Forest. No one really had any way of tracking him at first because he targeted very small targets. No one would ever get around. Lone households, small hamlets, things like that. Things that would take a while to be noticed and that would not draw a lot of attention. Things that would be easy to not notice had gone missing. We're not entirely sure what he was after with those experiments of his, but the results were grotesque and horrifying. He didn't just reanimate corpses, he twisted them. Changed them. Eventually, he made a mistake, after 5 years of terrorizing small communities, and his lair was found. Neothil was appointed to find him and eliminate him. Considering the powers Forgal wielded and Neothil's history, she seemed the best pick. And your parents volunteered to go with her, to help her. You had only just been born, and they wanted to make sure you were safe. They wanted to ensure that this Forgal wouldn't come after them, or after you, rather. In case something happened. Safety in numbers. It didn't go to plan. Neothil has something of an affliction, you might say. A weakness in the fabric of her soul that is very difficult to explain. But in recent decades, it has led to increasingly frequent moments of weakness or disorientation. Dizziness, nausea, lightheadedness, brief lapses of consciousness. They've been getting more frequent as time has gone on. Symptoms of the damage her soul may acquired during the events of the Ember Tide and up to it. One such incident occurred while they were fighting Forgal. From everything I've heard, everything she told me, they seem to have it well in hand, until that moment of weakness. And Forgal took that moment when she couldn't properly fight, and he killed your parents. Nethil couldn't protect them. Try as she might. She defeated Forgal after she regained her focus. From everything she told me, she practically blasted him to pieces. Then she returned and... She hasn't shared everything with me. I know that much. There's some details she has kept to herself, perhaps out of a desire not to speak of it, or something else. But whatever it was, it led to her deciding that perhaps it would be for the best if you didn't stay with her. She feared she wasn't necessarily capable, in her condition with her deteriorating health, of properly looking after you, especially with all of the responsibilities she still had. And perhaps she also feared she couldn't protect you after what happened to your parents. I cannot claim to know her mind entirely, but it wasn't long after that she took you to Morosu to leave you with the Soulwinds. I don't know what words were exchanged there. I don't know what all was said. But the Soulwinds did not take it well. As far as I can tell, the feud that you mentioned, the seeming hatred between the two halves of the family, is entirely one-sided. Nethil has no ill will towards your adoptive parents, Rosa. She's reached out on many occasions. She was always rebuffed.
Wait, she reached out?
Tried to. You didn't know?
I must have neglected to mention that.
Well. I thought Forgal was dead. Everyone thought Forgal was dead. If he's alive...
Necromancer, so... Maybe he had something like a phylactery or spare parts.
If he does, that would imply he's far more powerful than we gave him credit for. And it means I have work to do. You said he was last sighted in the tier lines?
You're planning to go after him?
He ruined my family with what he did to your parents. Everything that has happened to our family in the last 20 years that has led to things becoming so tense and scattered can all be traced directly back to him. And nothing threatens my family, Rosa. Nothing.
Shouldn't you tell me?
I plan to. But she's getting old, and her affliction is getting worse. I fear she's no longer in any condition for a real fight.
And maybe I'm not speaking with first-hand knowledge, but I don't know if that would stop her.
Perhaps it wouldn't. But I very much could. And I'm not letting Forgal take anyone else away from me. Or you.
So, with Cassandra, Thanatos knew about this? All of this?
He heard, after it had already happened. There was no time to reach out to any of the other remaining Warriors of Light when Forgal's lair was found. They had to act quickly. That's why Neothil initially was going to go alone until your parents volunteered. If they waited to get back up, Forgal would have already moved on, and it would have been for nothing.
Well, you shouldn't go alone.
I won't. I'm a powerful black mage, but I am not a good tracker. I have people for that. Then her eyes sort of land on the bow you have on your back, and the corner of her mouth sort of twitches up. And judging by your gear, I wager you've already met.
So, say that again?
Judging by your gear, I'd wager you've already met.
Already met? Out of character, I don't know what she's referring to at all.
Her help, who's good at tracking.
I mean... You talking about tree birds?
I'm talking about Vis.
Oh, I mean... The bow was created by a friend, but...
It's...
Yeah.
It's the vines.
I'm, well... Her kind of waves her fingers a bit along, some green nature sparkles go through the air. Yeah. Green mage. She wandered through some years ago, kind of knew who I was, at least who my parents and grandparents were, and we talked for a bit, and she taught me a few things, and then when my adopted parents found out, they kicked her out of the city, all but. It's been... I love my parents, but they all but kept me in the house for near 20 years. I was always terrified. I mean, coming out here, I don't know what I thought. I had some sort of sparkles and rainbows view of adventuring and reuniting my family, ending old feuds, and then one thing after another, the slavers, I killed someone. Too. That soulless guy I mentioned working with Forgal, I threw some people onto a fire just to make a point. I think after that was just top of him, and then he was gone. So, Vis, just Vis?
She's the best tracker I know. And her magics are especially useful against an undead or a manifester of undead. I don't imagine I'll need much more help than that.
I think we both know I'm about to ask if I can go with you, and we both know you're about to say no.
You would be correct. I'm not doubting your capabilities, Rosa. But Forgol is an enemy unlike anything I think you've ever seen. You said that you're still starting out as adventurers, right?
Last 2 months.
2 months is not nearly enough. He would destroy you.
In 2 months, Ramani and Grandma Mika did plenty.
They did, but they were still far, far from the height of their power. I'm at the peak of mine. Vise is at the peak of hers. Neothil went through all that trouble to try and keep you safe from him. Your parents gave their lives trying to keep you safe from him.
You've been trying to keep me safe my entire life. It didn't work.
Still.
I don't quite know how I should be dealing with this. I mean, 2 months ago, you'd been telling me all this, I would have sat down, nodded like a good little kitten, and watched you go on your way, cheering, confident that there's nothing you could do to fail. Now, you just told me who killed my parents, and I still don't know who and what I am, and I don't know how I'm meant to react to all that.
You don't know who or what you are?
Like I said, Mom and Dad kept me cooped up for 20 years. I come out here and get a heaping dose of reality quite harshly in 2 months. It's changed a lot.
One moment. Panara sort of stands up, walks over to a counter against the nearby wall where, as you turn to look, you can see that there's like a small assortment of like little affectations or little snack items and whatnot, including a tea kettle. And she takes said kettle. Her hand lights up for a second, and a moment later the tea kettle's already whistling.
I need a magic kettle. That's cool.
Oh, it's not the kettle, it's just... And she holds up her hand, and you see that it's just glowing white hot. It's me.
I just like magic.
It has many uses and many fascinations. I consider myself lucky that black magic and ambermancy are so similar on so many levels.
Well, both are derived from elements of darkness. Whereas I derive my power from the world itself, rather than any external factor, or internal factor, rather.
She pours 2 cups of tea, sets one down in front of you. Now, on the subject of who or what you are, I'm going to parrot something at you. A bit of advice I overheard a long time ago. Not long after I first met Neothil. Her big sister, Rania. At the time, Neothil was struggling with her own identity, after she'd learned everything about her connections to Zart and to me and to Gabranth. And Rania said to her, trying to comfort her, "You are Neothil. What that means is up to you." I pose the same advice to you now. You are Rosa Sulwyn Ithil. What do you want that to mean? This is not a question that can be defined and answered by the world around you or by anyone else. Maybe it can influence your answer, inform your answer, give you the education to provide your answer, but no one can answer that question except for you. So instead of fussing and worrying and wondering, decide in your own time.
See, reflecting my actual emotional state, Rosa is tearing and crying.
I actually got you tearing up.
It was the Rania callback thing.
For example, if we were defined entirely by the worlds around us, and indeed our own previous actions, instead of our current aspirations and what's in our hearts, then most people would look at me and consider me a villain. I ripped my own daughter's soul out of her body without properly explaining the situation to her. I tried to force that soul onto another. I damaged both dramatically in the so doing.
And then you gave Emma life. For her own.
Eventually, yes, I did. Because I wanted to be better. I chose to be better. I defined myself as being better than that. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's simple. But you can't wait for an answer, or you'll be waiting forever.
Aunt Emma, Grandma Nee, Uncle Keth, they're all still in Vitae?
Keth has taken to wandering. I haven't heard from him in some time. Emma and Nee, they're still in Vitae.
How do you think the illustrious Aurelia Blackstorm will react to me walking through that door?
Could you repeat that for me, please?
She's asking, her wording was, how do you think the illustrious Aurelia Blackstorm would react to Rosa walking through her door? Considering everything happened.
I don't know. She might be overjoyed to see you. She might be stunned. Shocked. Taken aback. She might be worried that you got in a huge fight with your adoptive parents and came seeking her out purely to spite them. I don't know. I don't know Nee's mind. Not nearly as well as my instincts as a mother would like me to.
Well, I speak from experience that rebelling from parents is a natural state for a child.
Tell me about it. You know, I used to be quite the rebel myself before I became an Ambermancer.
Huh?
Yes. I got in trouble all the time. It wasn't until I met Gabranth that he smacked some responsibility into me. And then I became an Ambermancer and promptly became an egotistical, god-complexed little bitch.
Language.
I'm an adult. I get to curse.
Kidding. And I take it was Nee who left this. She fiddles with Gabranth's gift.
I can't think of anyone else who would have left that with you. When she brought it back from Zart, I didn't want it. It was a wonderful
That's
sentiment about the man I used to love, but... Well... I assume you've read the book. You know how Gabranth and I's relationship ended.
Maybe, but... Well, maybe it was, in his own way, a final apology before he died.
I know that it was. And I appreciated that very deeply. But at the same time, it was an echo of a past that I wanted to move on from. Neothil tends to get far more caught up in the sentimentality of long-term things than I do, so I left it with her.
Yeah, I think I get that from her.
All the same, I left it with her. And I imagine
now
she
it's
then left it with you.
With me. You said she's ill?
She has been for a long time. At first it was easy enough to manage, but every time we're in contact, it's visibly getting worse and worse.
But she's Vitaean. She should have like another 30-odd years on her. Never mind the fact that she's got a Zalaran soul in her. She's Zalaran Vitaean weird hybrid thing.
It doesn't quite work like that. Her soul may be long-lasting, but that accounts for very little if her body does not match. And while her body normally would be very long-lasting, you need to understand the conflict that she and Emma had for so long, before they were able to find equilibrium, it almost killed Neothil then. 2 souls in 1 body. It's not meant to happen.
She's dying.
The damage her soul suffered has decreased her lifespan. Yes. I don't know how much longer she has.
Well, I mean, she's really bloody stubborn because, you know, the Warrior of Light, leader of the Warriors of Light and Darkness, killed a god with a ethereal sword of Saran, and
I know. I know how stubborn my daughter is. I was there the first time she died. She'll fight for every breath. And she'll get far more than anyone could ever guess.
Damn right I will. Nick says somewhere back in Vitae, with her ears burning a bit. Then I think going to see her is a bit more important than getting my own back on that fucker.
I would agree.
And that's where I'm going. If she's hurting.
All right. I don't have any authority to tell you what to do.
Well, you're my grandma. You're one of my grandmothers, so technically you do. But I don't have to listen to it. But you can try and ground me.
Rosa, please. We've only just met. On a purely technical level, I may have that authority, based on the societal standards of this land, but I'm not going to abuse that.
Grandma Panara, I waited a very long time to meet any of you, and you have in no way disappointed.
Well, I do my damnedest not to. I have enough of that built up.
Can I have permission to hug you?
For that, you don't need permission.
Glomp.
You kind of come around and give Panara a big hug, and she happily returns it. It's good to meet you again. Truly.
try not to be a stranger this time.
Well, I'll be sure to try and keep in touch, but, well, I'm not sure how viable that's going to be in the days to come.
If things go bad with Forgold, please keep us in mind.
I'm not going to throw my life away. You don't need to worry about that.
Good, because if you do, that's all the more reason for me to, drag everyone into that. So, fair warning. Although it's Cassandra, so she probably want to do it first.
Upon which note, your companions. And she takes a little sip from her tea. Why don't you take some time and tell me about them? I'm curious.
You must have met Cassandra at least once, right? Because Thanatos would have been about.
I think we've crossed paths, like, once when she was really little. I don't even know if she'll remember me. I just know that she hid behind her mother's skirt, pointed, and said, "Grey woman!"
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Again, I don't know if she'll remember it. She was very tiny. But please, enough of the depressing talk. I'd love to know about your friends.
Well, when we first met, there was a fish.
And we're going to regale the whole thing about the festival.
And on
all
that
the lighter
note,
moments of the campaign.
and on that moment, I think that's a good time for us to return to the rest of the room.
Yes, and Rosa now knows that I'm dying.
All right, let's get back to the others.
Oh, they return.
What's up?
So how traumatized are you?
All the trauma.
All the trauma.
He made me cry due to 2 campaigns worth of pent up emotion. So.
Then he succeeded in his mission.
Yes!
Oh, there are things going on with me and with me, so...
So there's things going on with you and you?
Yeah.
Do you need a hug?
Kunara sends hugs.
I think Rosa and me both need hugs, so...
So...
Emotional support, Google!
I'll just airdrop you into Katay to give me all the hugs. Nee needs hugs.
So... Are we gonna get to know about it soon, or...?
If Rosa wants to talk about it.
Well, right now, aren't we cutting over to Auntie Explosion?
Yeah.
Auntie Explosion. You know what? She would actually love that.
All right. Upon which note, let's rewind time a little bit and shuffle and boogie over on to Cassandra, Aeon, and Tiermouth getting dragged into Sarahphina's office. So, you are dragged into Sarahphina's office, and it is a very nice space. There's a window in the back giving a nice view of the city. A single desk stacked with papers, and the walls just have pins and red lines and little sheets of parchment connecting everything like a conspiracy theorist wall almost. Except looking at all of it, you see that most of them are covered in mathematical calculations and doodles of muffins and lemons.
Yep.
Now that we have some privacy, door clunks closed. And now I need to bring Hades and Mystic into the Whisper Room. I'm sorry, Darkness and Ari, but this is a very, Whisper Room secrets shit heavy session. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize. You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
I can recap Tom.
Bye.
Yeah, what did I miss?
And then Sarahphina sort of heads back over to her desk and then spins around to face you all. Are you all right?
Yeah, that is good as you expect.
Well, I heard about what happened in Garlat.
Cassandra wilts at that. How much did you hear?
I got letters from your mother. She told me everything. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Really, I wanted to be when I heard it was all happening.
I know you've just got a lot of stuff here. I can't expect you to just drop everything.
To hell with my job. You're my family. You're more important. Eventually, though, Panara was the one who convinced me that it would probably be for the best to wait until things sorted themselves out. I was not happy when I heard about what that bastard was doing. If I'd gone there unsupervised, I probably would have started blowing things up, and that would have only made things worse for you.
Honestly, it would have made me feel better.
Yeah, well.
You don't think it was my fault, do you?
Of course not. I know you, Cassie. It was that bastard Riker's fault. What the fuck is wrong with him?
A lot of things, apparently.
I do mean it. Are you three all doing okay? I can't imagine how hard that must have all been for you.
Tried to hold it together for Mom's sake and trying to keep what's left of our family together.
From the letters your mother's been sending me, it sounds like things have been going all right since everything cooled down. She's taking care of herself pretty well back in Viola, so you don't have to worry about her there.
That's good.
I'm sorry, there's so many things going through my head, I don't know what to start with. I guess just... Not to sound ungrateful for your presence, but what are you doing here?
Well, other than a chance to see you again, just mostly for Rosa, our friend.
Rosa, that was the, Was that the hybrid one?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed you had a few friends you were in that room with. Solwyn? Holy shit, you went and met a progeny of the Warrior of Light. Nice.
Well, more like she found us. The moment I said Shadowgrass, her eyes lit up like twinkles.
And then she comes forward and gives you a much more gentle and more affectionate hug. I'm just glad to see you're all right.
She just kind of leans in and just rests against her. Just trying to do some good.
And I have no doubt that you're doing a good job.
He is.
And I've just noticed, Sarahphina leans back a bit and looks between Aeon and Tiermith. You two are in the same room and not trying to kill each other. Did I miss something? Oh, man. You have missed a lot. Does Aeon have anything to say to that?
It's just a long story, I guess. Part of the adventure, right, Koopa?
I suppose so. We're still working through it, but we're making progress, I think. Well, good to know the brothers aren't trying to kill each other anymore.
For now.
Hey, come on! I've never once tried to kill you.
You did.
No.
Yes.
When?
You came into our lives and took Sandra away. That's pretty much death for me.
I didn't ask to be born, Aeon. There was no
Yeah.
effort there. I wasn't trying to do anything.
Yeah, we can just blame Bedofnir for that one. Don't tell her I said that.
You know, considering how weirdly intelligent dragons are, I'm half convinced she already knows that you said that.
She can't hear what he hears, does she?
Timothy just kind of grins at you. You don't know.
Aeon, he's a spy!
I knew it!
Wait, what? No, I'm joking!
Because Connor just starts laughing.
I'm glad to see the chaos never ended.
That's the Shadowgrass way. Miss
Mhm.
property
Proud of it.
damage.
Oh, believe me, I wear that bill as a badge of pride. Literally. And she points over the wall, and you see like a property damage bill framed and just hanging on the wall. How the hell do you not get fired? Panara? Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, being a descendant of the Warriors of Light, I'm sure helps too.
Maybe the first time or two.
I mean, come on. Grandpa kind of broke the gates of Antei that one time.
Yes, but he also had the excuse that there was a dragon there, so plausible deniability. I don't have that.
Oh, come on. Our family saved the world. Can't we just let a little property damage? Besides, it was all in good fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's everyone else who's fucking batshit about it.
Yeah. Although that story Mom told me about her wedding when you blew up her wedding cake.
Okay, see, I thought that was the whole plan. I thought they had the real wedding cake waiting in the wings, and that blowing that one up was just like a little boo gotcha to the guests, and I was incorrect in that assertion. That is one explosion I do actually regret.
And just the smile on Cassandra's kind of wanes a little bit.
You okay?
Yeah, just seeing family again just makes me think of Dad.
Sandra.
What?
Really tried. Just everything was collapsing, and you just kept telling me I needed to go, and
You were the only one who were there. I don't know everything that happened. And then I'm not about to trust the legal reports out of Garlat, because Riker had a hand in those, and I'm not going to trust a word that puke says. Not after all this.
I haven't read them either. The White Mage and Murasu, from what he said, didn't sound very pleasant.
We've been to Murasu.
Yeah, we stopped there. That's where we found Rosa. And a whole festival about Grandpa and the others.
Huh?
There's a statue of him there.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been there. Made a bunch of friends then, yeah. I'd like to get to know them.
I'm sure they'd love to know you, and just hope that Rosa gets the answers that she wanted.
I take it she
You
has a
still
lot.
worried about her?
Yeah. Just a lot of things that even I don't know yet, Auntie, and just I want to help her, but lately I don't think she trusts me a whole lot anymore.
Did you have a fight?
They got him. Yeah, they did.
They said things and like temper got the best of me, and just it was hard. When she first met me, she acted like I was her hero, like I was just this shining beacon of everything she wanted in her life. And now she barely talks to me anymore.
Tell me what happened. Start from the top.
Well, they were concerned about. She kind of just looks over at Aeon.
They were concerned about Aeon?
Just, I guess, kind of just seeing if Aeon is okay with her talking about it.
Sandra, you need to talk about this. You can't keep hiding it and bottling it up.
Words of wisdom from the Moogle.
I don't want to see Sandra cry anymore.
Cassandra just takes a deep breath. It's just... So... We were near Windhurst, and we kind of stopped a trading ring. A slave ring, sorry. And when we were fighting this mage that was in charge, Rosa thought she saw this shadow by Aeon. I didn't see it, and Rosa's the only one who did see it, so I didn't know what to think, and when she talked about it, it scared Aeon, and I hate seeing him scared, so I lashed out and I told them to drop it. And then the other day, they brought it up again and said that we should get him looked at here. I didn't want him to be scared again or cry. Yes, I just got a little overprotective, and I told her that I knew what was best for him, and that she should butt out of things she doesn't understand, and she didn't know what pain and loss really were. I told that to a girl that didn't even know her real parents, Auntie.
Ooh, yeah, not gonna sugarcoat it. That was not good.
She just kind of slumps at that. It's just, yeah, I know.
Did you apologize, at least? Have you made up? You're still traveling together, so...
I apologized, and we kind of made up, but just guess starting from the ground up, I guess.
Probably a good idea. So, this shadow thing, do we have any idea what it is?
I don't know. I've never seen it. Rosa saw it once, and Kunara said she felt something at one time. I've known Aeon my whole life. I've never seen this shadow that they're talking about.
The thing is I haven't seen it either, and the thing with Kuna, I accidentally tried to use my powers and ended up pushing her into the ground, hurting her. So I don't know if it's because of me that I hurt them.
Well, if you're wanting to look for something like that, are we assuming that we're dealing with like a parasite or something that's attached or something? Or something following?
I guess. But I've been with him his whole life. How come I've never seen it?
Well, maybe he didn't have it yet.
I don't know where he could have got it.
Well, neither do I. Magic can be weird and finicky. Maybe you just walked over a cursed item at some point that was just buried like an inch in the dirt and it just latched onto Aeon. Or maybe it's just nothing. Who knows? I'm not the right person to come to for that. No black mages. You would want a white mage or a green mage?
Green?
Yeah.
I thought that was still pretty new.
Oh, I know. What? Who? Why? What?
Crap. We have lost Aeon. And? What? How'd this come?
What the fuck?
Maybe...
Did the internet pants out?
I don't know. I will text her.
Okay. And I will notify the others that we are suddenly experiencing difficulties while you're doing that. Apologies for the moment, everyone. Aeon appears to have disappeared, and we're having difficulties over here. Please hold.
So she's still online. Maybe just her Discord's fucking up?
Maybe.
Seeing if she answers my text. What is going on?
Shift us to the technical difficulties screen while that's happening.
Discord crashed.
Ah, okay. So she should be back in just a moment then?
Yeah, she says she's trying to get back in.
Alright. Then in that case, I will pause the recording until she has returned and use this opportunity to go fetch a snack because I'm getting peckish, so be right back. Alright. We got a Mystic back, going back to the gameplay screen. Okay, so, where were we?
Cassandra was saying, she thought Green Magic was still pretty new.
Ah. Alright, Sarahphina sort of hoists herself up a bit. Well, Green Magic is pretty new. The people of Samlana are very jealously protective of their secrets and their magics, but we have had the honor of having a couple of sages, a couple of green mages, and a watcher here in the past. Usually only for short stints to talk about the history or the principles behind the arts. But over the last few years, we've actually had the privilege of routinely having a watcher drop in to actually teach the basics.
Watcher wouldn't be one named Beast, would it?
It would be, actually. Have you met?
No, but apparently she taught Rosa.
Huh. Small world. Yeah, apparently she decided to start coming here because of connections to Panara. Like, the two know each other. So, apparently from something back during the Amber Tide, so...
I mean, yeah. You read the book, too.
I will admit it's been a while and my memory is a little, on the subject.
I say careful, Auntie. You're starting to sound old.
Me? Old? She looks over at a mirror. Anyway. So, yeah, we do have a watcher in. I don't know where she is at the moment, but if you were to seek her out, maybe she could give you some more insights. Watchers are very good at that sort of thing.
I'm sure Rosa wouldn't object to seeing her old teacher. So, I know it's not your thing, but do you think it's bad?
Well, have there been any other symptoms beyond just one sighting of a shadow and a tingly feeling someone got when a spell hit? Has there been anything else? Anything at all?
Something that I've seen. Aeon?
I feel fine. I feel like my usual self.
It's not necessarily just feelings. Have you seen anything? Heard anything? Just tasted something strange?
Had steak at a really fancy place. Steak. Sorry, I hailed a steak. That's what I'm getting mixed up. I ate a fancy place. That's what I was trying to say.
I ate a fancy restaurant. The whole building. It's just gone now.
It's all in the floof.
It's all in the floof in the stomach.
It's all in the floof. No, not that I can think of. Everything tastes fine. Everything feels fine. My magic's getting stronger.
Oh, really? Good to know you've been keeping up on your studies, then.
I have. You want to see?
Oh, I would love to see.
I was waiting for her butt, but alright.
Nope.
Seraphina, there's no buts. She just this is the woman who blows shit up on a daily basis. She's not.
It's like as Seraphina says, "Oh, I have no objections whatsoever. Go for it." That Tiamat is like, "Uh-oh," and just dives under Seraphina's skirt to hide. Because he does not want to be a target.
Any suggestions, son? Do you want me to eject?
Do eject.
All right.
Eject
What?
Auntie.
Eject auntie. Okay.
All right.
Ejecting auntie. But do I need to roll anything for you or no?
I'll let it slide for this because I think this would actually be a good time to get Darkness and Kai in on this.
Oh,
because I'm pretty sure that they were following you.
Oh, they were trying to find him, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to hop over to there for a second.
You're gonna put in better.
Hey, Darkness, Ari, your whole plan is that you were following after Cassandra and Aeon, right?
Well, to see where they end up, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Well then, in that case,
Did we get
I
to
also
A and
didn't
B?
see what I put in better.
Problem solved.
Indeed.
Oh, okay. I thought you were dragging him into the whisper thing.
Nah, I don't need to do that for this because pretty much everyone except Tom would be in the whisper room at that point, and that would just be stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So Kunara, Kayana, you've been following along after Cassandra and Aeon for the last little while, just seeing where they were ending up. And as you're sort of coming up to where apparently they were last seen heading, after you asked around a little bit, Seraphina Shadowgrasp's office, it's as you're approaching that you hear muffled through the door, hit it, Aeon,
Eject!
followed by a very loud crash. A few pebbles fall from the ceiling, and you hear a feminine voice screaming, "Ow!" on the other side. And then Tiamat's voice shouting, Aeon! Did you have to target your aunt?
All you hear is Kai just going like, should we go in now?
Kunara's already going ahead. Fuck the formalities. What the hell just happened?
And so you pop open the door very thoroughly, just and you look up and you see that professor that was aiding Panara earlier, Sarahphina, just like T-posing pressed up into the roof on her back, looking equal parts pained and delighted, with Aeon's wand held up and glowing with purple light. And Tiamat like curled up directly under Sarahphina, looking like a spool of rope, just looking up with dread.
Did I do good?
All you hear is Kai just going like. All you hear is Kai just going like, what?
How's the weather up there, Auntie?
My spine!
My spine.
You hear Kai in the background just going like, what the hell happened?
I was showing Auntie my powers.
Yeah, I'm definitely never ever letting you two out of my sight again.
Mostly Aeon?
You better hope we don't have to pay for this, because I don't think the party can pay for this amount of damage.
No, it's mine. I'll take care of it. Ow, Aeon, this is amazing, but can you let me down now?
So Cassandra just holds out her arms, just waiting to catch
okay.
him.
Zoom.
Can I
Sarahphina falls.
levitate her down?
Or can we just let her down gently, or?
I'll allow it. Like, you release the eject spell and then use telekinesis to just ease Sarahphina back to the ground. Whew. Nice! That was good! Hurt like a bitch, I love it.
All you see is a worried Kai in the background. She's just like, oh my god.
So Cassandra just turns around and just sees,
Hi, Kunara. Hi, guys.
Should I even question what I just walked into?
All you hear is Kai going like, what? What?
Auntie, did you see any shadows?
No, I was too busy being pinned to the ceiling.
so Cassandra just wraps her arms around Seraphina and drags her over to her friends. Is like,
Kai, Kunara, this is my Auntie This is our Auntie Seraphina. Auntie, this is Kayana and Kunara.
Pleasure to meet you. Are you sure you're okay?
Oh, trust me, I have worse at coffee. She sort of straightens up and there's just this loud, as her back pops.
just this loud crack.
Yeah. Whew, that's nice.
You said coffee, right?
Yep.
All you see is Kai just eyes lit up. She's like, you drink coffee too?
Yep, no, I tend to,
Kunara-
like, cast magic on it to make it do funky shit.
Kunara's just giggling.
I like to give my coffee a very slight electric charge so that it buzzes on the way through.
I do that too.
Anyways, a pleasure to meet you both. I am Sarahphina Shadowgrass, professor here at the Academy, and something of a local headache to everyone who handles the books.
I can believe that.
Pleasure to meet you all. So you've been traveling with my niece is the right word, right? I keep getting this.
Niece, yes.
So you've been
I
traveling
do the
with
same thing, no worries.
So you've been traveling with my niece for a while now, have you all?
Indeed.
Nice. I want to hear everything.
Yeah, like your niece hit me with a mud?
What?
It was a mud throwing pit, and I just happened to hit you.
Yes, I remember that fondly.
Oh, was that at the at Marasu?
Yes.
I like that game.
Game is fun.
It is.
Also, Aeon started a cult there with a scavenger hunt.
What?
I did.
A cult?
So yeah,
Cult
apparently
might be a stretch on that term.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of
Yeah,
kids
and
following
he-
him.
yeah, and he kinda impersonated a certain somebody.
You know, like,
I did.
just for just like a brief second, we cut back over to Marasu, and there's just like this circle of kids all wearing very shitty Thanatos cosplays going, Koopa, 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 pow, pow, Koopa, 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 pow, pow. Cut back.
I mean, you were cosplaying as Thanatos by the time the scavenger hunt was done.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I was. That's right.
Remember, there's art of it.
You couldn't find the robe. I'm just like Grandpa Stampy Koopo.
Okay, 1 second. There's a spider in my room. I need to take care of it.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't kill it. Rosa wants to hug it.
Embrace
Where's
the
Charlotte? Auntie.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte. That's the thing.
Charlotte. I still love how just a random spider and now it's just dead.
It just always was there. You just haven't to forget about it until then.
Oh my god.
Okay.
All you see me is running out the freaking door.
What did you
I
do to
don't
Charlotte?
It wasn't Charlotte. It was a different spider.
And it's dead now.
I hope it's dead. At the very least, it can't get into my room. I shut the window on it like 8 times.
Oof.
Please. I don't want
Yeah.
the spider near me. I want it to die in a fire.
Well, not in a fire. I live here.
Remember that time, Thanatos, that we were in that spider's nest and I told you to set fire to those, like, bundles of web and then the web starts screaming?
Yes, completely annoying Alasaya.
So
Warning.
yeah, Han hasn't got to the point, so just brief context, Han. So we took a job to save some people from some spiders. We went to the nest, we killed the queen, and when I thought those were just eggs, I decided to try to burn them.
Bad plan. We should check them before lighting them.
And then there happened to be they weren't eggs, they were cocoons with people inside them, and they were slowly burning because I set fire to them.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
We're heroes.
Luckily,
and
they
that's why
luckily
you
they
look
did
before
say.
you flame.
Luckily, they did
got
save
him
them,
out.
but still.
We got them out.
Just about.
Oh.
It was still an event. It was still a funny event.
It was.
Now,
Hmm.
Now where were
Yes.
yes. Where were we? I believe Sarahphina just asked to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, and pretty much I'm training up to be somewhat of the leader of the Freebirds alongside me. Teach her all the knowledge I've been taught.
Huh. And have you been a receptive student, Cassie?
Aren't you?
She's rough around the edges, but she has the heart, and
Yeah, you should.
No. I was asking my niece. Have you been a receptive student?
She's, after a second of grumbling at her for calling her Cassie in front of her friends again, she's going to say, I've been receptive. I led us to stop a ring of slavers.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
she's also an impressive fighter, as we did sparred.
I almost beat her.
Wait, you
Almost,
didn't?
yes.
You mean you didn't win?
To be fair, she came very close. Her unorthodox methods I didn't really have much to counter for. However, was a little cocky. But at least she fought bravely and honored her family name.
Yeah, that sounds like Cassandra. Sort of ruffles Cassandra's hair.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, your
And
mom's
don't-
not here. Someone's gotta tease the ever-loving shit out of you.
And besides, Cassie, I'm sure that we have that rematch someday.
You just see this hot red glare coming at you.
Ooh, I
did-
started a thing.
And Kanara's grinning back.
Sounded like a little Shih Tzu growling.
Adorable.
No, it sounds like a chihuahua.
Ooh,
No, they
that's
sound
worse.
like.
Yeah, little buggers they are.
Anyway. I miss
Oh
that
no,
dog.
the foul beast wishes to smite me. Whatever should I do?
Hunt.
Pick him up.
Just draft kick him over your back fence.
Oh my god.
Yeet.
Yeet.
Continuing.
Yes.
Indeed.
I imagine you all must be rather tired after coming all this way, so if you want to make any use of the facilities here at the Academy City, you are more than welcome to do so.
Huh. I am honored. Thank you.
I mean, hey, I was gonna give free room and board to my niece as long as she's here, as well as, Aeon and Tyr, because they're family, and if you're friends, then you're friends of mine, so the benefits extend to your whole group as far as I'm concerned.
Well, before that, I would need a discussion with Panara before I can call it a day.
Oh, you have something you want to talk to Panara about?
Yes, just personal matters I need to bring up, that's all.
Seems like there's a lot of that going around with you people.
Therapy. Yeah, we've got a lot of issues.
All you see is Kai. All you see is Kai just going like, "Yeah, I'm the therapist."
Well, at least this group has one. Warriors of Light didn't really.
When the therapist needs therapy, you know you're fucked.
Yes, which Kunara gave her that. So-
Grandpa never needed a therapist.
He needed a therapist for something that was not depression. He had very different mental issues. Like a split personality disorder.
That literally manifested into another being.
Yeah. Well then, is there anything else you all wish to discuss with me right now, or should we just go get some food?
Cassandra just
Food
looks at
actually
saying,
sounds good.
Well, going by all of that, I will just assume that the answer is a loud and resounding yes. Allow me to show you to the cafeteria. And then he just fancifully flourishes a finger forward and strides out of the room.
Cassandra following right after.
Ooh, lunch! Do they have steak here? They have some sort of meat. I don't know, I typically have things with lemons. Are you still on about the damn lemons? Of course I am, but they taste awful! So says your overly sensitive carnivore dragon tongue. Ugh.
What the heck's a lemon?
At the same time, Tirma shouts, "They're evil!" and Sarahphina shouts, "They're delightful!" And then they glare at each other.
That doesn't really answer my question.
Use the lemons to burn your house down.
Take back the lemons.
Seraphina can actually do that. She just needs to cast fire on a lemon and then chuck it.
just out of character.
Flaming lemons, get them
It's
now.
not just, you see, it's not just Aeon that Tyr fights.
But this is more like a playful rivalry rather than like, trying to feed Tyr myth to pigs.
So close.
So close. She almost had an ally.
Yep.
Oh.
That would be great.
I'm not gonna do this right here because I need to sit up my back and say
Oh dear.
So, with that in mind, you get a decent meal, and the rest of the day is yours, so whatever you wish to do next.
So just, again, after just stuffing, Cassandra just pats her son. It's like, that was good. You get to eat this every day?
Yeah, the cafeteria mixes it up every day, but I get to eat something like this. It's not as I just make my own stuff in the staff lounge.
I was.
I
You know, if
respect
it
that.
wasn't, if it wasn't you, I'd ask how you always stay so thin.
And, Panara just straight up has her own little tea set.
She looks like the kind of woman who'd have a tea set.
Yeah, she has a tea kettle, she has all the different types of glasses, the little dishes. She has nothing with which to heat it up, though. She likes to show off by heating it up with her hands.
You do that too.
Well, yeah, but only if I don't have, a natural fire on hand.
I thought that
Do
was
you
just a
know-
black mage thing.
Some black mages. I, for one, prefer to reserve my energy for other things, but Panara, being the veritable wellspring of magic that she is, yeah, she can just do that all day, no problem. Jealous. Ow! Just hit myself in the head with a mouse.
So, speaking of Panara, whatever happened to her and Rosa?
They're in her office.
Yes, having their own private discussion.
They are family, more or less, so I can see that.
Indeed.
We kind of let her have her own alone time, like you had with your aunt.
To show respect, at least.
Makes sense.
That's fair.
Well, Panara does sure love to talk. Very chatty one. Especially when you get her going on anything even remotely philosophical, or you get her ranting about students who just do something stupid and then run.
Yep, that sounds like Rosa.
Yeah, Panara, she's a fun one. Probably the best black mage I've ever met.
You say fun, yet from what I read in the Chronicles, she was kind of a stick in the mud.
She's a fun one in more of a subtle way. Like, I'm all about the chaos and explosions and the property damage, and she's all about the ironic humor and the teasing. And the little subtle implications and handing the problem student a mop and bucket and saying, hop to it.
So kind of like
You said it,
Mom,
David.
without the making cookies and make me feel better.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't think I've ever actually seen Panara cook. I know for a fact I've never seen her drink. As in, like, alcohol. I've never once seen her even so much as have an ale. Can you believe that?
I can believe it.
Ew.
Like, I can believe that a certain Moogle didn't even let me have anything.
You are not allowed to drink. I'm not letting you end up like Grandpa Dampy.
One drink isn't gonna kill me.
It's
No,
not
no.
gonna kill you. It's gonna put you in a wheelchair.
Damn.
What? That's an interesting leap of logic there, Aeon. How'd you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, I know alcohol can get to your head, but it doesn't cripple one.
I can't breathe.
He got to his head and he got into an accident and he had to be in a wheelchair most of his life.
Oh, that probably would have done it, yes. So, be fair, Cassandra. Aeon's not wrong. I never really touched the stuff myself, especially from, well, most of the after effects and other nonsense that goes on with it. Really not my thing.
She kind of crosses her arms and pouts, and he would let me have one.
The only thing I drink is coffee. That's all I drink.
Look,
You want
not-
me to eject the drink again?
I don't have a drink.
I will not have
If you
another
did have
individual.
I mean,
I don't know why, but
if it ends
I'm
up like the
thinking
last
this
time, I don't
is,
think they're gonna appreciate you putting it through the roof.
I put Auntie through the roof, did nobody mind?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me of that, Cassandra. Thanks to Aeon, he unintentionally woke me up twice on that boat trip.
Oh, Aeon, never change.
That mischievous freaking people.
So
I'm reminding myself of the class boat.
Although I have to admit, sending something in the air that's supposed to be fragile through a ship, I have to admit, that was quite impressive. This scratches your head.
Getting praised by Kunara, it's a first.
And scritches from
Yeah.
Kunara. Wolfpaw claws,
Scritches.
giving you
Yes,
scritches.
I know.
Yep.
Eee. Careful, Charlotte's still in there.
If you go like right behind the ear, Aeon has a little scratch spot.
Good to know.
No, I don't!
She
No, I
does it
don't!
anyway.
No! No, he just flies away.
Weakness identified.
Vengeance.
You're a
believe it or not, it was
Oh no.
Tear
You know,
Snickers.
believe it or not, it was Mom that found that. It's the only way to really calm him down when he was little.
You know Freya will abuse that thing so bad.
Oh god.
Never
Oh, yeah,
underestimate
she
the
would.
never underestimate the power of a well-placed tickle.
Mm.
Mm.
And Tyr just kind of like playfully sticks his tongue out at you, Aeon.
Careful with that tongue, Tyr. I'll tell them about your scritch spot.
No. He's like
John's
hunch, he
looking
just
at
like
him.
hunches and coils up and starts hissing.
Don't go feral. Now.
Just kind of puffs up his cheeks a bit.
So, should we go check on Rosa and Panara?
Hmm.
Might be a good idea.
I haven't heard anything explode or anything, so I'm guessing it's going okay.
Panara isn't usually the sort to blow things up, so...
And she's a black mage.
Yeah, but she usually prefers to save the explosions for when something needs to die. Most of the rest of the time, she just focuses on neutralizing any issues with non-explosive means, like you and that sleep spell. Which, by the way, I will remember that for the rest of my life.
That was unfair. It was gonna be the best hug ever. and she
It was,
ruined
it was, but you were also dive-bombing the Arch Black Mage. What did you think was going to happen, you silly goose?
I was bombing you.
And I was like 3 feet away from the Arch Black Mage. You were practically dive-bombing both of us. What did you think was going to happen?
Thinking? I never came into it.
That I was gonna hug you into the ground and you'd be surprised.
So thinking didn't come into it. Good to know.
I learned from the
Guy was
best.
Smirking the whole time.
If you all want to go check in on Panara, be my guest. I will always be around here, so if there's anything else you need to chat with me with, by all means, seek me out. As long as I'm not in the middle of a lesson, I am free as a bird. I just realized you lot are the free birds. And that sentence feels weird when I
Yeah.
say it with you. Good name, though, by the way. I like it.
Yeah. It grew on us.
All right, well, I, as it so happens, do still have some paperwork I need to tend to and a property damage bill I need to pay, so I should probably get on that.
Then Kai comes and just says,
Don't worry, we'll keep an eye on Cassie for you.
Thank you.
Cassandra again. Head immediately snaps over to Kai with a glare.
all you see is Kai just giving her a smirk.
I love that giggle for Kayana. I just love the idea of her having that cute little giggle.
Tirith just kind of cockily saunters by, tail giving a few little swishes and shoots you a sidelong grin. What's the matter, Cassie? It's not any different from Sandra, is it? Then he flies off.
She shoots a bolt of lightning out of her mouth at him. just a tiny one.
Accuracy check versus your own avoidance.
Fair.
Like just a tiny
Does
one to give
Tyr-
him like
wait,
a little.
wait.
Bzz.
Does Tyr
Zap.
get like an extra roll because technically he's like with Cassandra? Yeah.
8.
What's your
And against
avoidance?
my avoidance, I'm pretty sure it's 6. Avoidance. It is 6.
It is okay. So yeah, you send a little static shock right up to Tyr's backside, and it's like, yay! He goes sailing off.
Okay.
Haha.
Okay. Ease up with the shenanigans, children.
And as we are transferring to the next scene, I need
Besides,
to be right back.
I fear that my mother senses are tingling.
My mother senses.
All you just see is Kai just going like, child, I may look like a child, but I don't count.
All right, we'll resume just as soon as Hades gets back. I assume he's using the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. I'm enjoying myself.
Mm.
You know Kai's gonna abuse that nickname so many times.
And you, Tom, over there, you're just having thoughts, aren't you?
I mean, on one end we got, you know, Aeon throwing people through roofs. On the other end we've got.
All of your shit.
Fuck you for the way you did that, by the way. It's just like,
Oh, come on! Did you think I wasn't?
I knew you were. Still, fuck you.
For which thing specifically? There was a lot that
Yes!
happened in there.
That's your answer.
Okay. Just fuck me for everything. Gotcha. Okay.
You made me cry, yes.
Yee! That is very hard to do.
Read all of you cry.
Campaign 1 references for the win.
Abusing 2 of my characters at the
Yay.
price of 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm reminded of the picture I made for Keone.
Given my other character trauma I didn't even know she had. Oh, now I know more how to act when she turns up. There would have been so many sharp shots.
Oh yeah.
There would not have been much left of him.
Indeed.
She would have grabbed him, stuck in his mouth, and 2 destiny points down the drain. Off we go.
Alright, what I missed?
Thank you.
Nothing, we waited for you.
Just Tom
Yeah.
said. Just Tom saying "fuck you for everything" for his scene.
And Kunara saying her mothering senses are tingling.
Okay.
All right.
I
So
am here.
y'all making your way to Panara's office.
Uh-huh.
All right. As you're all stepping into the office, it opens up for you freely enough. It seems as though Panara rigged it to respond to you as you're approaching at some point. And as you're stepping in, you see this very large space. Off to the right-hand side, a series of bookcases along the walls filled with not just books, but various knickknacks and little mementos and things. Off to the left, a long counter complete with a tea set, the very same one Sarahphina talked about a minute ago, which looks to have recently been in use. Up a couple of steps, there's sort of an elevated platform in the back before a very large window that provides a breathtaking view of the wider mountain range and the city. Sitting on the far side of it from all of you is Panara, listening intently as Rosa is currently in the process of telling her all about all of you and the adventures you've gone on. And off to Rosa's right, just sort of sitting there, weird little black orb thing held in a metal casing, like a planetary globe map.
Wait, you know, black orb, it just struck me. Fuck. Okay. Fuck, I knew it was a Lauren based. Oh, what are you doing? So, Okay. Sorry, that just realizing that it was a black orb just threw me through a loop. What I was gonna do.
Scrambling your
fair.
brain today, aren't I?
Yes, like
I didn't even really do anything that time. I just provided an environmental description. Your brain went.
a black orb. What? Where else have we seen a black orb? Very specific detail. To the intro. Anyway, So yeah, you're coming in. As you do so, Rosa is going, and then Aeon just throws all the snow into the air, and it's just an avalanche. The cheating Moogle.
Oh, you mean that cheating
Are we
Moogle?
in said room?
Yeah, you are in. You've just entered, and Panara just pointed
I
back
did
at all
not
of you.
cheat!
You cheated. Also, apparently, Kunara's habit of just sneaking is spreading to everyone. You're all sneaks.
Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Aeon.
Can I give you a hug?
Yes, you can.
Yay!
I guess I am a good
Here's
teacher
Rosa.
after all.
Yee!
Weak.
And I guess I am a good teacher.
Oh, how's it going, Cassandra? Don't worry, the scary pale woman isn't going to bite.
Scary.
Very pale woman.
Right here.
Yeah.
I was never scared of her. She ruined the best hug ever.
You need to understand what it looked like from my perspective. I had no idea who the hell you were.
And
I just
now?
saw a purple blur zipping in, and my first instinct was self-defense, so sleep spell.
Especially when apparently the last time she saw it, there was a little girl hiding behind her mother from the scary pale woman.
What are you talking about?
Doesn't think she remembers.
Nope, she doesn't. Go figure. You were very little at the time.
She definitely has a habit of jumping into things she shouldn't.
Little Cassie just hiding behind mummy. Oh, it's adorable.
At the name Cassie, the glare returns, and you see little puffs of fire coming out of her mouth.
And then Kunara just pinches your cheek.
Everyone's bullying Cassandra today.
I mean, she kind of deserved it with the
Oh,
what's
she's
happening.
getting all
Yeah,
angry
karma.
again.
Karma.
A spear in flames.
She kind of looks at us. So, you're the famous Panara.
Yes, I am Panara Blackstorm, Arch-Black Mage of the Academy City. Pleasure to meet you again, Cassandra, and to the rest of you, a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, Miss.
A Lupin. You don't see those very often around here. Your kind typically keeps to the tundras of Mistella. Lone wolf, I assume?
Indeed.
There's a lot with that.
I don't
That
doubt
ears
it.
went down at that.
Apologies, I didn't mean to prod at anything sensitive.
It's fine. I'm coping.
Yeah, we're all sensitive.
Yeah, and I'm the therapist.
Good, that means you care.
And then she just points at Aeon. And he is the emotional support Moogle.
Gwage.
That is the story I've been hearing, yes. Rosa has been going into exhaustive detail on all of you. Sounds like she found a good group of friends.
Yeah, I tallied up all the revenge you need on Cassandra. You know, the mud ball, there was the pulling into the bath, and then the snubble.
And I have some blackmail on her anyway.
Blackmail?
Cassie.
Oh. I thought that was just her nickname.
Is now.
That or Sandra, take your pick. A dragon. I was not expecting to see that today. You're taking this awfully lightly. Child, I am almost 200 years old, and I was around for the Amber Tide. I fought in the Amber Eternal. I had to chop off a relative's leg just so that she would live. I have seen some shit, alright?
You flew on a giant amber bird.
I did that too. Through the tide walls when those are still a thing. That was a whole ordeal. A little noodle dragon is nothing to me.
Little noodle dragon.
Noodle.
And hey, I know what I am. Good.
Oh, yeah.
I would be concerned if you didn't. Now,
Now, I think we have a lot to talk about, and I need to go shopping.
oh,
Yeah, this done wearing, I kind of just up and left. This was like my work clothes. I up and left, and I haven't taken it off since. I need new clothes.
I wasn't going to say anything, but yes, those are looking very fucked.
These were not designed with the amount of fireballs, blades, and everything else trying to kill me.
It was a learning experience.
Yes, and I have learned that these clothes are not sufficient.
Well, you
Yes.
should be able to find a tailor who sells clothes to travelers down in the main city around the southern gate. Should be easy enough. They should be able to take care of you there. Even make something custom if you bring them the gil for it.
We have some gill stuff.
Now, unless there's anything any of the rest of you need to discuss with me, I'm afraid I do actually have business I need to attend to. I have preparations I need to make.
I do need to chat with you.
Really?
Hmm.
I just have to say, you kind of almost exactly like Grandpa told me about you, but a little more, I don't know, open?
It's 100 years of that.
I've had a long time to get comfortable in my skin and the environment I now call home.
Speaking of, how long are you going to be in Anomo before you depart to do what you're going to do?
Probably a couple of days. It's going to take me time to get everything squared away, get schedules shuffled around. I don't want to leave my students high and dry while I'm off taking care of business. I'll need to discuss things with Sarahphina. I'll need to discuss matters with Vise and get her on board.
In that case, could we, Kunara, if it's, I need to talk to you all a moment as well. So, maybe try and catch up with you later, Panara, if that's okay, before we all go our ways. For Kunara's dreams thing.
Yes, that's what I want to discuss. I just need to know what they are exactly. If you have means of helping me with that, of course.
There's also the matter of, she glances off towards Cassandra for permission to mention.
She just kind of looks down and just nods a little bit.
There's also, one of us has been, well, I saw like a weird shadow being related to one of our magics that we want your advice on, whether I'm just seeing things or, that's a thing. There's a lot with us.
So I'm gathering.
Auntie said
I
the
have to
best.
deal with-
Auntie said the best one to talk to would be Vise.
How convenient. Still, I know you, obviously, shadow and dreams and all that has kind of been your domain historically, so...
I can no longer enter dreams the way I used to, but I'm still familiar
Still.
with the mechanisms. I might be able to offer some
Knowledge.
insights.
Yeah, we doing both just now?
If Kunara wishes to ask for my opinion on matters of strange dreams, I can offer my opinion.
For the safety of the little pack I made, I would gladly go for anything.
Be careful what you say. It might just come true. Now, have a seat and tell me what you're dealing with. Spare no detail. I can't help with vagaries.
Well, as she gets comfortable, it's almost like a voice that keeps talking to me, judging me, making me do things in a way, like try to figure things out, like one particular phrase that kept playing over in my mind. Bonds that once broken need to be whole again. At least something on that description. One of the things I've been worried about constantly and trying to figure out. Does it mean bonds with my clan, my sister? Or even the sword I was entrusted? I allowed shatter through my reckless moments of my life. Was there something else I don't know?
You're giving me introspection here, but not information. Walk me through one of these dreams you've had. I don't necessarily need your hypotheses on what they mean right now. I just need to know what happens in them. What did you see? What did you hear? Again, I cannot work with vagaries, and sentiment doesn't help me here.
Forgive me.
Take your time.
Some of them are a bit fuzzy, but the main ones I remember of my past. I had conflict with my sister. And it always ends the same. Even where there's times where I thought I was in control of it, but no. I always ended up defeated. And she's glaring down at me. Sword between my eyes. With that cold, harsh expression on her face. And I always wonder in that moment, if it wasn't for the laws of the pack at the time, would she have gone through with it and struck me down there?
Kunara, focus. You're rambling again.
Sorry. I suppose.
Let's try it this way. Where are these dreams set? Do they have a recurring location?
Well, at first it looks like where I fell and lost to my sister, but then they shift a bit.
What do they shift to?
Well, they shift to like some kind of figure, but I can't really make out who he is. Just repeating the phrase over and over again, but also surrounded by, in a way, darkness. But then when it ends, there is a light as it shines bright. That's when I usually wake up, and when I do, I get restless.
All right. Are there any recurring visual motifs in these dreams of yours? Recurring themes? Common symbols?
Besides reminding me that the sword I wield is shattered. And what I could remember.
Sending you a thing, Darkness.
Okay. There's also a common theme of the full moon.
Full moon. Not surprising, I'm given to understand Lupin culture holds the moon in high regard.
Indeed.
This voice that you mentioned, speaking of mending something broken. Is it the same voice every time?
It is, from what I can remember.
Do you suspect that this voice comes from the shadowy figure you see near the end of your dreams?
I do think so. There's even been some times when I'm out of the dreams, I see something, but then it disappears before I can get a good look at it. One experience of this was at the bathhouse with the 3 birds. As I looked into the water, I saw someone standing behind me. But as I turned to look, they were gone.
Today's just a day full of deja vu, isn't it? Up until you mentioned that last point, I would have been partially willing to chalk it up to perhaps trauma-induced recurring nightmares. They are known to happen. But the point of seeing something tangibly present, that implies to me that these aren't just dreams. I no longer possess the means of doing so, but it is possible for certain types of magic to project dreams into the slumbering minds of other creatures, be it over a distance or from within or what have you. I used to do the same thing with my child, Neothil. The recurring visual motif that I asked about is usually a good means of identifying where this message, where the sender of the dreams is coming from, or something that they hold in high regard. It's relevant in some capacity. For example, when I was reaching out to Neothil, I always ensured that there was a recurring theme of amber stars drifting where we appeared. There would only be so much I could do to change that if I wanted, but it helped ensure that Neothil knew who was contacting her at any given time. It would help mitigate confusion and panic. So if the themes are routine and constant and consistent, then that implies a desire to hold your attention and get into your mind in the sense that they want you to remember. That said, if you are not entirely sure who is sending you these messages, there's not much I can do to help you on that front.
So there'd be no way to pinpoint.
I cannot track it. No. The only reason the dreams I was projecting to Neothil could be tracked in the past were because I was relying on amber magic, and thanks to the aid of a blue mage, Neothil was able to abuse that connection of amber to trace where my spells were originating from. Without knowing exactly the nature of whoever is sending you these dreams, tracking them in the same way is practically impossible. It could be any number of things, and nailing it down would be almost impossible.
Well, at least I'm not going completely insane then.
What I would encourage you to do is meditate on these, in a sense. Think on them. Try to remember every detail you can. And brace yourself for when they'll come again. Be prepared, so that when they happen next, you'll be ready to respond instead of simply be coasted along. Dream links like this require mutual effort to be fully established. Whatever's reaching out to you so far, it's only one way. If you can retain lucidity during the next one of these, perhaps you can reach out and establish a connection and get some tangible answers. Meditating on the common themes of the dream and the recurring events will help prepare you for that. And as a small exercise, when you are dreaming, if something suddenly makes no sense, or if you're going through something again, ask yourself, how did I get here? Try to logically work through the steps you had to take to reach where you are, and if you suddenly find yourself coming to a block, to a gap in your memory between where you fell asleep and where you suddenly are now, then that is usually a good means of helping your mind realize that it's not awake, that you're sleeping. It can take a lot of effort to realize that that's something you need to do, but if you can manage it, it should help.
Guess there's a first for everything.
dream communication is endlessly convenient and significantly more headache-inducing because of its contrivances and convolucences.
And now I wish I was born in the role of a shaman. I'd probably be more in tune to this.
Well, it just requires a little bit of discipline and patience. I wish there was more I could tell you, but, well, unfortunately, with the limited information at our disposal, there's not so much I can do. All the same, I wish you luck.
Thank you. You have been most helpful. And this goes to show that I have things to sort out with myself after all. Quite literally.
Answer me this, Kunara. Who doesn't have things with themselves they need to sort out?
That is true.
Damn right it is. Now, if there is nothing else, I do need to speak with Vise.
There was that other thing. What did Sarahphina say about it?
You said you spoke to her about it?
Yeah, we mentioned it, and she said best people to talk to would be White Mage or Green Mage. Or Watcher with... What's the word? What's the term?
For Vise, it would be Watcher. For what we would conventionally call Green Mage, the term is technically Sage, but Green Mage works too.
We use green magic, but we also use bows and stuff.
Yeah, it is a different skill set.
But
Yeah, there was one time when we were fighting that Solus guy I mentioned. Aeon kind of used some magic, and I saw a weird shadow kind of form out of his shadow and smile at me. And then that same day, when Aeon accidentally shoved Kunara into a barrel, she reported that the magic felt a bit unusual, off to normal.
Well,
My senses were on full alert when it arose on me, so yeah.
were I still an Ambermancer, it would be a simple matter to poke and prod and see what the deal was, if anything was, but such abilities are beyond me now. Seraphina's right. A white mage or a green mage would be your best bet. Upon which note, I'm surprised you haven't tried to look into it yourself, Rosa. You're a practitioner of green magic, are you not?
I mean, yes, but I'm not. I mean, Vise only taught me some bare bones basics before my parents found out, and then she couldn't anymore. I mean, I don't even. I mean, I know green magic, you can kind of look into souls. That's kind of how Emma came about.
You can see into souls, or, on a lesser level, simply hunt for afflictions. Find them. And if need be, draw them out.
I can draw out afflictions and kind of take them onto myself, but that's not really what we're kind of trying to do. So I don't really know the whole soul thing. That's kind of super advanced stuff that I would love to do, but Vise didn't really have time to show me.
Well then, I suppose we had best get and speak with her, shouldn't we?
Wait, Vise is here?
Yes?
What?
Did you not make that connection the whole time I was talking to you?
No, I thought you had a way of contacting her. I didn't realize she was here in
Yes, it's
Anomo,
called-
like on the other side of the continent from her home she barely leaves.
You see Cassandra just kind of giggling.
She travels a lot more often than you're giving her credit for.
I need to say hi.
Yes, you do.
Ease up, Rosa.
My mentor's here. Hey, things to show her. I can do things now. Yay!
Indeed you can.
Come along. And Panara stands up, finishes off her tea, and steps around the desk to make her way out of the room.
Alright, Vise, talk to. Guys, When we get a moment, I need to talk to all of you.
Sure.
Did
There's
you get
that.
the answers you wanted?
Yes.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it?
Or is it over the
10.
scale?
Of course it is.
I got the answers. I'm not happy with them. We'll deal with it in a minute. I need to go say hi to Beast.
Alright, so,
I see
Panara.
if-
Go on.
I see if I could pick up some materials along the way.
Thank you.
Mainly,
Alright,
you're
so-
welcome.
So, Panara leads the group out of her office and down the corridors of the university building. You go through several twists and turns before you come out into a very large sort of intersectory plaza, surrounded on all sides by walls, but open roof up above. There's another one of those sort of monument obelisks sort of established in the middle with names written on it. But the whole plaza is densely populated with greenery. Vines and bushes and trees and flowers all about, with little paths sort of carefully squared away to where things have not been growing for foot traffic. And sort of in the middle of it all, sort of sitting cross-legged away from you, you see the form of a Vieran woman with sort of pale bluish, icy blue hair and dark tanned skin, wearing the sort of minimalist, ease of mobility attire of a Vieran watcher. Leathers and furs pressed tightly together around like the upper chest and over the legs, and thick padded boots, but leaving the midriff exposed for easy twisting and turning and maneuverability. And you see next to this woman a cactar, just walking in place.
Do I know the name of this cacti?
Needles.
Needles. Hi, Needles!
The needle spins around and then promptly jumps up like a static image being lifted up in Adobe Photoshop, but the leg's just flailing around. And then
You see, like, the vine come from... The vine that's wrapped around Rosa's bow just lodge slightly and start waving like a hand.
the cactar lets out another high-pitched and just like darts towards you, cartwheeling, and just goes in a few circles around you, kicking up a little cloud of dust before shooting back around over for Vise, coming to a stop and just settling down and going. Why did I have the feeling you would turn up?
I mean, I didn't know you were here, but you're here. Hi, Vise. It's been a while.
Vise stands up and turns around to look at you with a warm smile. It has been too long, Rosa. You've grown well in the time since last we met.
It really has. I'm so sorry about what happened. I never really got to say it, but you know, my parents kicking you out of the city.
She lifts a hand. It's all right. You don't need to apologize to me for your parents' behavior.
I was grounded for like a month.
And yeah, it was kind of a dick move.
I have no right to commentate upon how a parent wishes to raise their child.
So you're not upset about being kicked out of Marasu?
I was not kicked out of Marasu. I was simply deprived of any reason to remain. And I was upset, but again, I had no right to criticize their parenting methods.
Well, I kept up practicing after you went. I kind of made my own bow. It was a bit rubbish, but I have this new awesome one that Kunara and Kayana made for me. It's got vines and I can manipulate them. Look,
She steps forward and gives it a look with a smile. Very nicely done. She then reaches out and ruffles your hair. You're taller, too. You've grown into a fine young woman.
Just, you see her tail swishing. She scuffs the ground on the boot.
No, there's the source of the nickname.
Thanks.
Nickname?
No.
If you insist.
I don't know why you could just see Cassandra and Kai just going like, really?
We need to hear it.
If Rosa does not wish it shared, I shan't share it.
Oh.
Cassandra pouts. You're no fun.
Oh, I can be a lot of fun. I simply have respect for boundaries.
Just see some of the things you can do. One day I'll figure them out. It's been kind of difficult trying to reverse engineer them myself. There aren't really any books on green magic in Marasu.
That is by design. The sages back home are very protective of our secrets. It took a very long time to secure the permission to teach here.
Well, I still have Fluffy. She has grown into an even finer young woman than I have.
The bird?
Uh-huh. She's within the stables, probably eating geisha pickles.
That is very womanly behavior.
Cassandra just kind of goes, so you're Vice, huh?
I am. Her eyes sort of linger on your spear for a moment, and then on your scarf. And I would wager, based on everything I'm seeing here, that you are connected to Thanatos, aren't you?
How can you tell?
There are signs all over. The scarf you wear for one thing, and the cloth tied to the end of your lance.
Also, she's awesome.
They bear the same color as Thanatos' cloak, and they bear the residue of his essence on them. Also, they just smell like him still.
It's the whiskey.
Further, the lance. It is made from his scythe. I can tell. The patterns in the metal. They're familiar. And the gem? Can't miss that. And there's also just your eyes and face. Family resemblance. Hard for me to miss.
Grandpa was right. You are good at detail.
I am a watcher.
He also said you were a scary cactar woman.
Oh, Needles isn't scared. He's adorable. She pets him and then immediately regrets it.
You go to like pet him, hesitate, and then Needles like pauses, vibrates for a second. And then Needles just withdraw into his head.
That's better. Pets.
It's stiff and slippery cactus flesh.
I don't know why, but I can see Aeon trying to pet it.
But no, Aeon's staying really away from the group in this interaction.
Because of the shadow thing, I think. But yeah.
Oh, so Cassandra just kind of sees, is like, Aeon?
Hmm,
You okay?
I'm good.
Why are you so far away then?
Like you don't know.
Oh, right. Miss Vice or Vice?
I'm not one
Professor?
for titles. You may just call me Vice. I teach
Okay,
here, but
cool.
I'm not an official member of the staff. I am only here for the remainder of this year, and well, then I am to move on.
Okay, cool. So, are you busy right now?
Not at the moment.
Yes, he is.
I'm not.
Cassandra just kind of goes up, goes up to Aeon, just. Aeon, she's right here. We're here. Wouldn't it be best to just get it out of the way so
No.
we don't?
I never said I was okay with this. And again, nobody asks me what I think. You all think that you know what's best for me, Kupo.
I asked whether you'd be okay about just talking to them about it back in the camp. And you kind of gave a diminutive
Talking
okay.
is fine.
Just what
Talking is fine, Kupo. But I don't want any part of it. You all can talk. I'll go do something else. I don't want any part of this.
Insight check on Aeon. Inquiry check.
Inquiry check. Roll it. And Aeon,
not
roll
lying
negotiate.
about
And
anything.
Aeon, roll
Well, it's
negotiation.
not. Again, we're not
Something-
saying that
Sure.
you're lying.
Okay.
It's just,
But just something just seems real off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying
It's
that
just mad.
like Aeon's lying,
I'm
but just,
saying is lying. Just like something just feels off.
Oh,
yeah.
Inquiry
oh,
is just
the
like
fact he's
saying.
mad and he still doesn't want to do this.
Maybe, but it just
Let's see. Yes. What am I doing? Negotiation?
Yep.
I could push plus. There we go. No, of course.
I rolled an 8 because I have nothing in inquiry.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What is this music?
like I'm just trying to. At this moment, like
this
Rosa's
does
fine.
not fit the situation.
No. After our prior discussion where we talked about talking and we kind of have previously come to a shaky understanding with it, and then just the way Aeon is just kind of turning on a dime and really resisting it, just I guess Rose is just trying to ascertain whether there's something else bothering Aeon, or if there's like something sort of strange going on. It's kind of hard to put into words.
Well, since you rolled higher than Aeon's negotiation, what I will tell you is that your instinct here doesn't seem to be off. Aeon does seem to be being more defensive than you would expect, but beyond that, you can't really get a read.
Yeah, I guess what it is because in previous instances Aeon got upset and kind of scared about it, but here he seems to be angrily defiant, which just seems out of character for how Aeon would usually present himself. So yeah,
How do you respond?
So yeah, I do get a sense that there is something off here. Yeah.
You just get the impression that Aeon is being more defensive than usual, that your instincts on that are not off the mark. As for why, yeah.
Alright, so Rosa kind of blinks, kind of shares a glance at Cassandra that kind of has concern and written in her eyes and a bit of confusion.
Cassandra's got kind of the same look. It's just
Aeon?
Aeon. It's like,
Are you okay, Aeon? Because you seem a bit different than normal.
No, I'm not okay, Kupo. I just want this thing dropped. Why can't you just believe me? I feel fine.
Not that
You're going off one instinct of something you thought you saw, and then what Kunara is not used to feeling magic.
Aeon, it's not that we disbelieve you. I mean, there's no
You
reason
don't
for...
trust me.
It's not that either. We don't disbelieve you. We don't distrust you. We just... How to put this? We're just worried about you. I mean, there's no correlation to being lying and having strange thing. It might not even be bad. It's just a strange thing. We all have strange things.
I worry about you. I worry about Kai. I worry about Kuna. But it seems like everybody wants to hide something or not say anything. But when they don't want to talk about it or not do anything about it, it's fine. But as soon as something happens to me, I don't get a say in the matter, Kupo.
You... I'm trying to... What's Cassandra doing? Because I'm trying to get a sense of...
like Cassandra's just a little. Again, this is not like Aeon really.
It sounds almost like in terms of like my... Does it sound almost like he's parroting something he would have heard from someone else telling him?
It's like, Aeon, I trust you more than anybody. You know that.
No, you don't.
How can you say that? We've known each other our whole lives.
Then why are you doing this?
Because I'm worried about you.
Why would you think we don't...
I'm fine! Why can't anyone just believe me with that?
Enough!
I'm tired of thinking.
Visa's quickly stepped into the middle of things and putting her hands out. Enough! Enough. Shouting will get us nowhere. Now, she turns to you, Aeon. Your name is Aeon, yes?
Yes.
My name is Vis. I am a watcher of Somlana. I'm an expert in green magic. I'm capable of great acts of healing. I've done it before, many times. Do you believe, or fear or suspect that there may be anything potentially wrong?
I don't. I'm just tired of people seeing me as a monster.
What?
Aeon,
Whoever said anything about seeing you as a monster?
I've never called you a
Really?
monster.
Not you! All the towns we go through! Everything I do wrong! Every time, the amount of times we've been kicked out! Everything I try to do and I get blamed for it!
Aeon, breathe. Take a breath. Inhale. 1. Let it out. Now, what are you talking about here, if you do not mind telling me?
It's when Sandra and I go through our adventure by ourselves, there were several times where we kicked out of towns because of me trying to help, and I end up doing something bad and they get mad at us. And then they look at me like something's wrong. And then I think of my past where Sandra found me and I don't know anything about me. There's my parents didn't want me. Everything just happening makes it seem like I'm some monster. And now I keep hearing everyone say this, and I just feel like I am. Like everything everyone said and yelled at me is true. I just want to believe I'm not bad, but no one seems to believe me.
Hang on. You're not bad. It's a monster.
You're never bad. All those towns are... they don't matter.
Cassandra is your name, yes?
Yeah?
It would be wise of you not to invalidate this one's feelings, or anyone else's for that matter.
I'm not trying to invalidate anything.
Maybe you're not trying to. I'm not saying that's what you're doing.
Yes.
But evidently this is how this one feels. Regardless of your misgivings with that perspective, you need to try and understand it. If you do not mind my asking, Aeon, what kind of incidents are these that get you kicked out of those towns? What happens? Give me a random example.
Just magic, or just me doing something to help and something goes wrong. I can't remember every event.
I don't need to know every event.
They're just accidents. I go to do one thing and then something bad happens. It seems like I'm just bad luck. Fires start. Buildings get destroyed. People get hurt.
Well, may I offer my professional opinion?
can, I guess, Kupo.
If what you are saying is true, then these instances of bad luck seem surprisingly frequent from where I stand. I'm not necessarily a believer in luck, as it is. But I do believe in my student. I taught Rosa for several years. Whatever her shortcomings may be, she is nothing if not observant.
If I do this, will everyone just leave it alone?
Never wanted to hurt you, Aeon. We weren't scared of you. We were just scared that something else might hurt you. What I saw that day wasn't you. Just felt like something else. Someone else.
Any kind of coming from you, Rosa, Kupo.
Sorry, what was that?
Funny coming from you, Rosa. Because when I saw what you did to Sandra, I didn't recognize you either.
I know.
And I'm not gonna force you into this. I never wanted to. All I ever thought about was your safety, and I'd do anything to protect you. You know that.
Yes.
Couldn't bear something happening to my little brother.
Fine. You all want me to do this, Kupo? Fine. But I'm not happy about it. Just do it so it can be left alone. Go ahead.
Vise sort of holds
I
out a
won't
hand.
fight anymore.
Vise holds out a hand towards you, more as if an invitation. I won't force you either.
He just goes with it. He doesn't resist.
Alright. Vise will very gently fold up her fingers and lightly put two of them, middle finger and index finger, up to right up to like your chest floof. And she will close her eyes. And there will be a pulse of green light from those fingertips that sort of goes into Aeon's chest floof and disappears inside of his body. And Aeon, you suddenly feel sort of weirdly inflated, as if you're a balloon that just had a bunch more air suddenly puffed into it. Not uncomfortably so, but definitely like you're being stretched a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few seconds of quiet as Vise is going through the motions of whatever it is she's doing. And then the glow fades. She opens her eyes and pulls her fingers back. That is strange.
Strange.
It's like I could peer in. I could look, but I could not see. Something was there, blocking my view.
What does that mean?
May I go back in? There's something I wish to see.
You
Was that
didn't
it?
see anything.
He just grumbled.
If you didn't see anything, what is looking again gonna do?
I mean,
I have a theory. I want to test it.
Okay. He reluctantly just does it again, just holds
Right.
out
Right.
his paw.
Alright, Vise once again does the thing. Then after a few seconds, you feel a very warm, tingling sensation sort of going through your system. And then for a brief moment, you feel yourself as if you've suddenly been spirited away. You no longer feel like you're there with, with your friends. You suddenly feel like you're adrift. You feel something bobbing around you. A firm surface, damp and soggy. You can hear wind blowing by over your head. Just the sun shining down through this square shape over you. You're tiny. You can't move very much. Just little fussing whimpers and gurgles. And then a shape passes over. You can't make out what it is. It's blurry against the sun. But whatever it is, it descends down towards where you are. The sound of the water becomes muffled. And there's this gentle ringing noise. Like the hum of a magic wind. Then you hear what sounds like the inverse of glass shattering. Like a window breaking in reverse. And then you feel more content. Just relaxed. At ease. The sound of the water around you becomes muffled and is replaced with the rush of wind. And after a time, the wind stops and the waves resume. And you're bobbing again. Drifting along. Until you feel the ground suddenly come up beneath where you're kept. The sun vanishes. The moon half full emerges, then dips, and the sun returns. And then there are footsteps. And then you open your eyes and you're back in that little place. Back in that little spot in the heart of the Academy City with everyone looking at you. And to everyone else, all you saw, for the brief few seconds that Vise was doing this, the purple symbols along Aeon's body lit up a little bit. Vise pulls her hand back.
you both okay?
Something has been placed on you, Aeon.
Based
Something.
on me?
What are you talking about?
Vise stands up. It is difficult to explain. I've not seen anything of the like before. But some manner of magic has been placed on Aeon that is preventing deeper probing. And whatever it has been there since Aeon was tiny.
So, even before Sandra found me?
I cannot know that. I did not
found
see
him in a-
whatever you saw.
I found him in a box on a beach when he was just a baby.
Aeon, what did you see?
I just saw the sun and the moon just go dip back and forth, and I heard waves.
When you were
I
on
s-
the water?
And then I heard footsteps,
Oh,
but it wasn't much difference from what I remember. I just saw the sun and the moon,
maybe that
hearing
means
the waves.
maybe that means that if this is some kind of passenger, you picked them up while on the water, drifting towards Cassandra, and they would find you.
I don't know, it's weird.
I
There's
can't.
nothing else you saw?
Unfortunately, no. Whatever erected this block, it's powerful. And it's entwined, woven into you. Were I to try and break past it, I might cause damage.
Let's not do that.
I was never going to.
But I don't understand. I've known him. I've been around him our whole life.
Aeon, I'm curious with this shadow. Have you ever had maybe an imaginary friend? Do you ever talk to it?
No. I don't know what shadow you're talking about, Rosa. You're the only one that saw it. That's what I don't understand.
If I may offer an observation. Vyse turns to you, Cassandra. You said that this whole of occurrence has only been recent, that you hadn't seen anything of the sort for all the time you've spent with Aeon, and you've known him your entire life.
I found him when he was a baby, and we've pretty much always been together. I've never seen any shadow or any weird feelings around him.
Something you need to understand about magic, no matter how powerful. It can erode with time. It can fade.
Like a seal?
Whatever this wall is, it's not an actively maintained effect. It was placed and then left.
So someone did this to you.
Maybe it was to protect me? I mean, I don't know what these markings are.
Regardless,
We've never.
if something has begun to occur, if Rosa did indeed saw something, and it was connected, the explanation I would offer is that perhaps whatever this wall is, it is not as strong as once it was.
So it's getting weaker.
Yes.
It's just been weakening over time.
Most spells that don't
That's
have
a
an
good
active...
thing.
What do you mean it's a good thing?
Isn't it, if it's getting weaker, then that means that isn't it fading? Then we don't have to worry about it, right?
I mean, maybe, but what would that mean for your magic?
I don't know. Worst comes to worst, you can show me how to use a bow.
Teach you different magic?
I should point out, if this is if Rosa saw something at the same time that this wall was starting to weaken, what would that imply?
That
Something will be unleashed.
someone that Aeon has someone tagging along?
Charlotte? Is Charlotte the reason?
I don't think Charlotte's the reason. As much as that would be awesome. I mean,
That's something. This wall.
have you?
It's holding something back.
I mean, not the shadow, because I mean you've made it pretty clear that you've never seen a shadow. But have you seen anything, Aeon? Anything that just
No.
Hmm.
No, I've only seen everything normally. Like, I see you guys. I see the magic you guys use, and then I see Charlotte. It's always with me. I don't know. Not that I can think of.
no voices, no just nothing at all, huh?
Mm-mm.
Huh. That was a very protracted no.
But
Well, regardless,
I'm just
There's
inwardly
not-
debating whether to run another inquiry check or not, but
I'm
Regard-
sorry, I have my mom asking me stuff, so I'm trying to like be quick so she doesn't just come in. She's already interrupted
good.
twice already.
it's all good.
well, okay, that's fine. I mean, if whatever this is weakening though, maybe that it might start to show up more. Maybe you will notice. I mean, maybe it's not even a bad thing. We don't know.
What do you think, Vise?
I think that at present the only recourse available in response to whatever this is to wait and see what happens. With this wall in place, it's simply impossible to gain enough information to know what is happening.
Very well then.
At which point Vis will then kneel down a little bit more to be closer to your eye level, Aeon. And Aeon, I appreciate you trusting me and allowing me to do my job.
It was more just to get everyone to just move on from this. I want to know I'm fine. And what it sounds like I'm okay at least.
So long as we keep an eye on the magic fading, it should be fine. Just maintain it. And maybe if you do hear or see anything or feel anything, just let us know so we can, well, do magic maintenance.
I didn't feel any indications of a malady or a curse or any kind of ill effects from the wall. So for the moment, at least, you're in good health. However, I have no idea what's on the other side of that wall. It might not last.
I mean, it's taken like 15 years for this thing to even show itself, so maybe it's just slow going, and we may not see anything of it. Maybe we're just being just a
Well,
little crazy.
Well, what this means is something to just cautiously keep an eye on, but ultimately it means that Aeon, there is nothing wrong with you.
He kind of just stares at Rosa.
And I know that you didn't want to do this, so thanks for at least trusting us.
I kind of wish you felt that way because right now it doesn't seem like any of you trust me.
Kunara's gonna step forward when you said that. And then kneels down in front of you.
I'm so small.
You're tiny.
I mean, you are the smallest of the group.
By very
and
wide
then
margins.
And then we have Kai.
Kai is
I mean-
taller than Aeon.
Kai is still bigger.
Yep. And would try to slowly and gently hold you in for a hug. How does Aeon respond?
He goes in for the hug. He's not resisting. He's just not happy.
Aww, Mama Wolf coming out.
You have my word. I put my faith and trust in you, Aeon. You're one of us, after all.
We won't.
Mhm.
Maybe keep an eye on it, but we won't do anything else about it without your say so, okay? Just we'll trust you to let us know if you ever need help. Okay?
He just goes up to Rosa.
Promise?
I promise. Just I trust you to deal with this. Just please trust us too. And it swishes. My nickname. It swishes.
Is that Aeon laughing?
And it's me. I just wasn't expecting. I was expecting it. That's fine.
You weren't expecting to
Just
suddenly learn what
the seriousness.
I think that was kind of the point.
Swishes.
Swishes.
She just washes like because my tail swishes.
Like now?
So just you were saying about me hiding things. So not hiding things. What swishes?
He just gives Rosa a hug.
As long as you promise to trust us. I know things have been rough for you, and I'm sorry. Everything that's happened.
I just wanted you to be okay, Aeon, especially. I found out what happened to my parents. Please.
I hate to interrupt, but there is one more thing I wish to address.
Yes.
If it is your intention to keep tabs on this wall and any effects it might have, then someone in your number needs to know how to observe it. The only person right now with the qualifications is Rosa, but I never taught her the mechanisms by which to observe, only to draw. Aeon,
I
with
would
your
like to, but only if Aeon lets me.
That is what I was about to ask.
I don't see why not. If you're just watching it.
Well, I am a watcher.
Then if you've no objections, when next I get an opportunity, I'll teach Rosa the technique. And then she can monitor.
Maybe next couple days while you and I think Panara needs to talk to you, and I need to talk to them, but maybe I'll come back tomorrow.
Panara needs to speak with me? And it's at this point that Panara, who's been keeping a respectful distance back, steps forward. Yes, I do. Something's come up.
And while you talk about that, I need to tell them about it.
We'll give you your space. Vise, over here. Of course. Rosa, I'll have a chance to speak more later.
You can count on it.
She gives a little nod and then walks off with Needles following close behind, letting out a few little distressed little as he's going. Because that was a lot.
See you soon, Needles.
That was a lot, Jesus.
And more to come because... Anyway, Right, Aeon, yes, again, sorry, it just... I'm glad that you're okay, and... Especially because, yeah, I found out... Panara answered my questions. Forgo, you remember Kunara, we found the name in Claudian's mansion.
Yes, I do. And I trust you have more information on this individual.
So I told you about 20 years ago, he was around Vitae and I had vague memories of him. 20
Did he
years
kill your
ago,
parents?
20 years ago, Neothil, Faye Solwanathil and Vanan Shanta, my mother and father, tracked down this necromancer who was causing trouble on outlying villages, disappearing people, breeding abominations. They cornered him, but her body is kind of starting to reject the soul that doesn't belong. She kind of glitched out and collapsed mid-fight, leaving my parents to fight him alone, and they didn't make it. He came to, and I just see it happen, and she killed him for it.
Forgal's dead?
He was supposed to be, but necromancer, I guess. After my parents died, Grandma Nee, because of what was happening to her, and she couldn't save them, so she decided to that my adopted parents would I'd be safer with them. However, something I'm still Panara's kind of vague. She doesn't really know what happened then, but apparently Nee's tried to visit several times, but my parents stopped her. I never knew she reached out. They never said anything, even when we were leaving.
I don't understand why they wouldn't let her visit.
I planned to ask, but apparently Nee tried to visit. And there's something else. I mean, Panara intends to track down Forgold now that she knows where he is in the tail lines, and I kind of wanted to go too, but then she told me something else that means I really need to get to Vitae. He's dying.
What?
Oh.
He's dying. Grandma Nee, what the whole thing with her soul and body not really meshing anymore, it's getting worse. I mean, I didn't think it was a problem because she's physically she's Vitaean. She should die like another 30 years, but apparently she's not well.
But I don't get it. That soul's been in that body for over 100 years.
I think that's the problem. I mean, it's not her body, it's Emma's, who's got her own now, but I mean, whole stuff, like, her body is across the ocean, and in some small way, her soul would have always been trying to tether back to it, and I guess over time, with the damage done and their journeys and everything else, the bonds between her soul and her vessel are just weakened, and now no one knows how long she has.
The last of the Warriors of Light.
But she's still alive. I mean, it could be tomorrow, but it could also be like another few years, or she might have the whole 30. We don't know. So, but I don't. Hoko killed my parents, and he's out there laughing about it, but I don't want to miss talking to her for him.
Then you won't.
Then I guess we know where we need to go.
Panara and Visa are gonna go find Forgol.
And then that guy's doomed. An arch black mage and a master watcher.
Maybe.
Poor guy doesn't stand a chance.
Survive me.
But this isn't his mom and your teacher.
They are pretty cool.
Trust me, that guy's toast.
I hope so.
We're gonna get you to Vitae.
None of, this is
Indeed.
really, none of this is really shaped up how I thought it would go.
It never does. It's life after all.
Seems to be the running theme with us, huh?
Things just pulling us in different directions.
Grandmoney is a very stubborn person, so I'm sure she's laughing at death and telling him to go screw himself.
That's the spirit.
She came close to death once before. I say, didn't the book
She
say
died
was
once
born
before. Well,
Cassandra just
Yeah.
kind of comes over and puts a hand on top of Rosa's head. I know I'm still not on best terms.
she hugs her.
She hugs back. But I promise you this, and this is a promise I'm not gonna break. I promise. I promise. I promise. That's a promise sitting right here. Look at me, I'm
Promises.
rambling. I'll get you to Vitae before she goes. Never really thought I'd be going back west.
And we shall all accompany you on the way.
Well then, I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah. We'll have to find a way to get around. We'll have to be careful going through Gaurion, but otherwise, yeah.
Oh, you think we can charter an airship? I mean,
That's
the port,
expensive.
yeah.
And that's expensive. And I don't know if airships
I don't.
are just for charter out of Anomo.
I don't think we can really afford an airship. That's a long journey, even on an airship.
I mean,
That's on
another
the other
option
side of
would
the
be
continent.
getting a boat like we did before. I mean, obviously there's port in Windhurst, Poriton, and then the closest port to Vitae would be the city of Zolvain.
I sure we
Yeah.
have the
Yeah,
time.
we'd still be going through. We'd probably still have to make a stop in Garlat, though, so I don't think.
Only if you want to. I mean, Zolvain is a stopover from Garlat. It's part of Vitae, the Confederacy.
Well, I don't know how ship routes work.
I mean, we need to charter one and see where they go, I guess.
We can go to Windhurst and see if we can talk to somebody, I guess.
We go there a lot.
I sure we could work it out better once we are fully rested.
Maybe. I mean, maybe just chill for a few days. I mean,
if he wants to teach me soul stuff, that's gonna be fun. Magic.
First things first, Rosa. We need to work on your new outfit.
Cassandra ruffles her hair. Yeah? You can't go seeing your grandma knee without looking like a little lost librarian, can you?
I am a lost librarian. I'm very lost. I'm scared. I'm frightened.
No. Take care of yourself and the other matters. It's time, okay?
Cassandra pats her on the back. Now then, come on, we gotta get you looking badass for your grandma.
Yes, presentation. I can do that. Do I have a design in mind? Let's go find things.
Indeed. I believe
All right.
I come across a place around here. And
All
it's
right.
off.
All right, so with that, you all set off from Visa's little garden, making your way through the halls of the university and back out into the Academy City to get Rosa a new wardrobe. And upon that note, we're going to call it for the week.
Okay.
God, so much. God.
So that was the direction I did not think you were gonna go.
Obligatory, y'all need therapy.
And now we're crossing more.
Wait, I'm both writing.
Now old party members need therapy. Or-
Yeah, so Nee, apparently Faye died in front of Nee's eyes. Eyeballs, she saw it happen and couldn't help. Why must you give all my characters trauma even after I've done playing them?
I mean, in my defense, I needed something particularly horrifying to happen to justify the schism in the family.
Yeah, and
So-
finally gave Rosa
I mean, we
up.
still don't know why the soul ones cut her out.
Yeah, what their discussion was. I'm going to write an entry in Rosa's book for that evening.
I assume beginning of next session I'll just have the outfit to save shopping time.
Yeah.
Probably.
That means I'm gonna have to fucking update the goddamn intro. Okay.
Also, sort out Gil once done recording.
I mean, when it comes to like just the outfit, you don't have to worry about money for that if it's just a cosmetic change. If you're actually updating your stats, that's what.
I was
costs money,
going to get it to tier 2 to go with.
Right. Well, regardless,
Sure.
thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us for this session of Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. This is a lot. Join us next time, and until then, keep listening, people. Bye-bye.
Alright.
Bye, everyone.
You motherfuckers are always so goddamn sad.